Park rangers are trained to handle lost hikers, wildfires, even armed suspects. There is no training module for something that answers your radio before you speak. These are their stories. Viewer discretion is advised. Story 1. The Fall. Jacob fell off the 15-foot cliff. I thought for sure he was a dead man. When I finally made it to the bottom where he fell, outside of minor scrapes and bruises, he seemed okay, and I didn't think twice about it. That was my first mistake. Let me back up. October 23rd, 2019, Olympic National Park, Washington State. I'd been a ranger there for 6 years, long enough to know the trails like the veins on the back of my hand, short enough that the job hadn't completely worn me down yet. The Cascade Ridge Trail wasn't technical. Not really. Just exposed in places. Drop-offs that make you pay attention. The kind of terrain where one wrong step means a bad day, but usually not a fatal one. We'd had 3 days of heavy rain that week, the kind that turns topsoil into grease and makes Douglas fir roots slick as black ice. Every storm like that, we had to do post-weather assessments. Check for washouts, fallen trees, structural damage to bridges and boardwalks. Standard protocol, boring work, mostly, but necessary. My supervisor, guy named Patterson, been with the Park Service since before I was born, assigned me and Jacob Morrow to check Cascade Ridge. Jacob was 8 months into the job. Still had that eager energy that bureaucracy and budget cuts hadn't beaten out of him yet. Kid was 26 years old, talked too much, asked questions about everything, but good questions. Thoughtful ones. I didn't mind him. We left the ranger station at 7:30 in the morning. Temperature was hovering around 41 degrees. Overcast sky, that particular shade of gray that makes the Pacific Northwest feel like it exists in a separate reality from the rest of the country, like the sun's just a rumor someone told you about once. Jacob drove. He always drove. When we partnered up, said it helped him learn the service roads, memorize the turnarounds and access points. I didn't argue. Meant I could drink my coffee in peace. Close my eyes for the 20-minute drive if I wanted to. Think we'll see much damage? He asked, turning onto the gravel access road that led up to the Cascade Ridge trailhead. The truck's suspension creaked as we hit the first pothole. Needed new shocks. Had needed them for 6 months. Budget wasn't there. Depends on the wind, I said, watching the tree line blur past my window. Rain loosens things up, wind knocks them down. If it was just rain, we're probably fine. If we had gusts, could be a mess. He nodded. Serious. Like I'd just revealed some profound wilderness wisdom instead of stating basic cause and effect. That was Jacob. Treated everything like it mattered. Like every piece of information was worth filing away for later. We parked at the trailhead at 8:15 in the morning. The lot was empty. Too early for day hikers. Too cold for the casual tourists who showed up in summer and thought a 2-mile nature walk counted as wilderness experience. Just us. Just the truck. Just 6,000 acres of old-growth forest stretching out in every direction. I grabbed my pack from the bed of the truck. Radio clipped to the shoulder strap, first aid kit, trail markers, and flagging tape. Zip ties for temporary repairs. Handheld GPS unit that I didn't really need but carried anyway because Patterson got paranoid after that hiker got lost in 2017. Spent 3 days out there before they found him. Guy had been maybe a mile from the parking lot the whole time, just walking in circles. Jacob shouldered his own gear, checked his bootlaces, then checked them again. The kid was thorough. I appreciated that about him. Ready? I asked. Always. The trail started easy. Gentle grade through hemlock and western red cedar. The path was soft with decades of needlefall. That deep, spongy layer that builds up over time turns the forest floor into something that feels almost carpeted. Our boots made almost no sound, just the occasional snap of a twig. The distant argument of two crows somewhere up in the canopy, fighting over territory or food or whatever crows fight about. The air smelled like wet earth and decay. Not the bad kind of decay, the natural kind. Fallen logs breaking down into soil, moss and lichen and fungi doing their slow work of recycling the forest. It's a good smell. Clean. Honest. Jacob kept up a steady stream of observation as we walked, pointing things out. Damaged signage at the half-mile marker. The paint was peeling, needed to be replaced. A section where runoff had carved a new channel across the path, creating an erosion point that would get worse if we didn't address it. Places where we'd need to come back with a trail crew to clear fallen branches or reinforce the path edge. Normal work. The kind of thing that fills most ranger days. Not dramatic, not dangerous, just maintenance. Keeping the wilderness accessible and safe for people who didn't know how to stay safe on their own. We were 90 minutes in when the trail started climbing. The trees thinned out as we gained elevation. Fewer of those massive old-growth giants, more scrubby shore pine and stunted hemlock. The vegetation changed. Less understory, more exposed rock face. Lichen covering the stone in patches of yellow, green, and pale gray. That's where the drop-off started. Nothing crazy. 10 feet here, 15 feet there, maybe 20 in the worst spots. Enough to break an ankle. Enough to crack ribs if you landed wrong. Enough to ruin your day and make you wish you'd stayed home. But not enough to kill you, usually. Watch your step through here, I called back to Jacob. Rock's gonna be slick, still wet from the rain. Got it, he said. His voice had that focused quality it got when he was paying attention. Not the chatty, curious tone from earlier. The professional one. I heard his boots scuff on stone behind me. Steady rhythm. Careful placement. No hesitation, but no carelessness either. The kid had decent trail sense. Knew how to place his weight. Knew how to test uncertain ground before committing. I wasn't worried about him. That's the thing about mistakes. You never see them coming until they've already happened. I was maybe 15 feet ahead, navigating around a section where the trail narrowed to maybe 2 feet wide. Rock wall on one side and a drop on the other, when I heard the sound. Not a yell, not a scream, more like a sharp exhale. A grunt. The specific noise a body makes when physics suddenly takes over and there's nothing left to do but fall. The sound of control being lost. I spun around. Jacob was gone. Just gone. Empty trail behind me. No one there. For a second my brain couldn't process it. I'd heard him, heard his footsteps. He'd been right there. I rushed back. 5 steps. 10. There. Fresh skid marks in the mud. Deep gouges, where his boots had tried and failed to find purchase, leading straight to the cliff edge. My stomach dropped. I dropped to my stomach at the edge, looked over, careful not to put my weight too close to the unstable lip. 15 feet down, maybe a bit more, hard to judge from above. There was a rocky outcrop jutting out from the cliff face, covered in thick moss, ferns sprouting from cracks in the stone. And Jacob, sprawled on his back, arms spread, one leg bent at an angle that looked wrong, perfectly still. Jacob! My voice came out raw, louder than I intended. Jacob, can you hear me? Nothing. My hands were already moving, unclipping my radio from my pack, thumbing it to the emergency channel. My brain was running through protocols. Call it in, get search and rescue mobilized. Assess the situation. Don't move an unconscious person unless there's immediate danger. Check for breathing, check for pulse if you can reach them safely. But then Jacob moved, sat up, slow, careful, like he was testing whether anything was broken. I'm okay, he called up. His voice sounded normal. Maybe a little shaken, but normal. Not the voice of someone who'd just fallen 15 feet onto rock. I'm okay, Brett. I slipped. Foot went out from under me. Don't move, I said. My hands were shaking. Adrenaline dump. Stay still. I'm coming down to check you. No, really, I'm fine. He was already standing up, brushing dirt off his uniform pants, rolling his shoulders like he was checking his range of motion. Just got the wind knocked out of me. I'm good. I stared at him. 15 feet. Onto rock. He should have been broken. At minimum, he should have been concussed. Ribs cracked, wrist fractured, collarbone shattered. Something. But he was standing there looking embarrassed, like he'd just tripped over his own shoelaces in front of a girl he liked. Jacob. I kept my voice level, calm, the voice you use when you're trying not to panic someone. Stay right there. Don't move around. I'm coming down to assess you properly. Brett, honestly, I'm fine. That's what everyone says right before the shock wears off and they realize they've got a compound fracture. Stay. There. There was a scramble route about 30 yards back. I'd seen it on the way up. Steep, but manageable. Basically a controlled slide down loose, scree and exposed roots. Not ideal, but faster than trying to find a better route. I took it fast. Probably faster than I should have. Half sliding, grabbing at roots to control my descent. The whole time my brain was running through protocols. Head injury assessment. Check pupil response. Check for clear fluid from ears or nose. Spinal check. Palpate ribs. Check range of motion in all extremities. Radio for medevac if needed. Probably needed. 15-foot fall. He should be broken. I reached the outcrop breathing hard. Jacob was standing right where he'd fallen, looking up at the cliff face, like he was trying to figure out how he'd gotten down there. His uniform was dirty. Mud on his pants, dust on his shirt, but no blood, no obvious injuries. Let me see your eyes, I said. He turned to face me. I pulled my flashlight, shined it at his face. His pupils contracted. Equal response. Same speed in both eyes. No delayed reaction. No irregularities. Follow my finger, I said, moving it left to right. His eyes tracked normally. I checked his ears. No clear fluid. No blood. I checked his nose. Same. No sign of cerebral spinal fluid leak. Turn around, I said. He did. I ran my hands down his spine, vertebra by vertebra, checking for displacement, for abnormal gaps, for any sign of structural damage. Nothing. Any pain? I asked. Neck? Back? Ribs? No. He lifted his arms, rotated them in full circles. Honestly, Brett, I feel fine. Little scraped up maybe, but he showed me his palms. Minor abrasions. The kind you'd get from catching yourself on gravel during a stumble. Not the kind you'd get from falling 15 feet onto rock. I checked his pulse. Left wrist. Counted silently. 78 beats per minute. Elevated, but not dangerously so. Normal for someone who'd just had an adrenaline spike. Breathe deep for me, I said. He did. Full expansion. No wincing. No catching. No indication of broken or cracked ribs. I should have known then. Should have recognized that something was deeply, fundamentally wrong. But I didn't. Because I wanted to believe it. Wanted to believe in luck. In miracle landings. In the universe occasionally throwing someone a break instead of grinding them down. You're sure you're okay? I asked one more time. Positive. He smiled. That same eager Jacob smile. The one that made him look even younger than 26. Guess I landed right. Must hit that soft moss or something. Just knocked the wind out of me. Sorry for scaring you. I pulled out my radio anyway. Keyed the mic. Ranger Sullivan to dispatch. Static. Then Patterson's voice. Go ahead, Sullivan. Had a slip and fall on Cascade Ridge Trail, approximately 2.7 miles from trailhead. Ranger Morrow took a fall from trail level to lower outcrop. Estimated drop of 15 feet. Subject is conscious and alert. No visible injuries. Vitals stable. Conducting continuing assessment. Copy that. Do you need SAR support? I looked at Jacob. He shook his head. Mouthed the words. I'm fine. Negative at this time. We'll check in at next scheduled interval. If status changes, we'll advise immediately. Understood. Next. Check in at. Make it 1100 hours. Affirmed. Sullivan out. I clipped the radio back to my belt. Jacob was watching me. Something in his expression I couldn't quite read. We should head back, I said. Get you checked at the clinic, just to be safe. Brett, come on. He looked almost offended. I'm fine. We're only halfway through the trail assessment. If we go back now, we'll just have to come out again tomorrow. That's a waste of time and resources. He was right about that. We were already short-staffed. Patterson would have my ass if I called off a full trail assessment because of a fall that resulted in no injuries. And Jacob did seem fine, moving normally, speaking clearly. No signs of the shock or confusion that usually follows trauma. All right, I said slowly, but we're taking it slow. And if you feel off at all, dizzy, nauseous, vision problems, anything, you tell me immediately. Understood? Understood. I mean it, Jacob. I know. I will. I promise. We climbed back up to the main trail. Jacob went first this time. I insisted on it. Wanted to watch him, make sure he wasn't favoring one side, make sure his balance was good, make sure he wasn't showing any delayed symptoms. He climbed steady, strong, no hesitation, used his hands when he needed to, found good footholds, moved like someone who hadn't just fallen 15 feet onto rock 5 minutes earlier. We reached the main trail, stood there for a moment, catching our breath. Jacob brushed more dirt off his uniform, adjusted his pack straps. Ready? He asked. Yeah. Let's keep moving. The first sign was subtle, so subtle I almost missed it. We'd been hiking for maybe 20 minutes. The trail had leveled out. We were moving through a section of dense canopy, trees so thick overhead that it felt like walking through a green tunnel. The temperature had dropped a few degrees. That microclimate effect you get in old growth sections. Jacob was maybe 10 feet ahead of me. He'd been quiet since the fall, not his usual chatty self. I figured he was embarrassed, or maybe coming down from the adrenaline. Either way, I didn't push it. Then he said, so what were you saying earlier about the cedar blight? I stopped walking. What? He glanced back at me. Earlier, before we left the truck, you were talking about cedar blight in the lower elevation zones, how it's spreading faster this year because of the wet spring. I wanted to ask more about it. I stared at him. Jacob, I didn't say anything about cedar blight. Sure you did. While we were driving, you pointed out that grove of cedars near the access road and said some of them were showing signs of infection. No, I said slowly. I didn't. We hadn't talked about cedar blight. We'd barely talked on the way in. Just small talk about the weather, whether we'd see much storm damage. That was it. No discussion of tree diseases. No mention of anything botanical. Jacob frowned. Huh? That's weird. I could have sworn. He shook his head. Sorry. Must have been thinking about something I read in that forestry report last week. Got my wires crossed. Concussion, I thought. Had to be. Even though he'd shown no symptoms, even though his pupils were fine and he'd passed every field assessment, he'd still hit his head. Must have. Fallen 15 feet. Had to have sustained some kind of brain trauma. Now he was mixing up memories, confabulating, pulling information from one context and inserting it into another. Not uncommon with head injuries. I'd seen it before. How are you feeling? I asked, keeping my voice casual. Any headache? Pressure behind your eyes? No, I'm good. Feel fine. Vision's clear? No blurriness? 2020. What's your full name? Jacob Michael Morrow. What's today's date? October 23rd, 2019. Who's the president? He smirked. Do I have to answer that? Classic Jacob. Even when I was checking him for brain damage, he was making jokes. That should have been reassuring. Instead, something about it felt off. Just answer the question. Donald Trump, he said. Unfortunately, all correct. Oriented to person, place, and time. No confusion, no disorientation. So why was he remembering conversations that never happened? Let's keep moving, I said. But I'm serious. You feel weird at all? You tell me. I will. We walked for another 30 minutes. The trail wound through dense forest, occasionally breaking into clearings where storm damage was more visible. Fallen branches. A cedar that had come down across the path. We had to detour around it. Made a note of the location so a trail crew could come out with chainsaws. Normal assessment work. But I kept watching Jacob. The way he moved, the way he placed his feet, looking for any sign that something was wrong. 10 minutes later, we came to a fork in the trail. The main route, the one on our assessment list, went west, back toward the trailhead in a long loop. The eastern fork went deeper into the backcountry. It wasn't technically closed, but it wasn't maintained, barely used, mostly just accessed by serious backpackers doing multi-day trips. Jacob stopped at the junction, looked east. "We should check that trail," he said. "It's not on our route," I said. "We're supposed to assess the main trail and loop back." "Yeah, but what if there's damage we don't know about? Shouldn't we at least do a quick check? Document it?" "Jacob, that trail's not maintained. If there's damage, it's expected. We're not responsible for it." He stood there for a moment, just staring down that eastern trail like he was listening to something I couldn't hear. "Right," he said finally. "Yeah, main trail. That makes sense." But he hesitated before following me. Just for a second, his body language all wrong, like something in him wanted desperately to go east, like it was taking actual effort to turn west. "You okay?" I asked. "Fine," he said. "Let's keep moving." We took the western route, the proper route, but I noticed Jacob kept glancing back, quick looks over his shoulder, like he was checking to see if something was following us from that eastern trail. The second sign was his boots. We stopped for water around noon. I'd been checking my watch, making sure we stayed on schedule, making sure Jacob was drinking enough. Hydration is important after trauma, even minor trauma, even trauma that results in no visible injuries. I sat on a fallen log, pulled out my canteen, took a long drink. The water was cold, tasted like the metal bottle it came from. Jacob stood a few feet away, not sitting, just standing there, scanning the tree line with that focused attention rangers develop after enough time in the field, looking for hazards, checking sight lines, making sure nothing was lurking in the undergrowth. That's when I noticed his boots. They were clean, not pristine. They had the normal trail dust and dried mud you'd expect from 3 hours of hiking, but they weren't wet, weren't caked with the fresh mud and moss you'd definitely have after falling onto that outcrop. I'd seen where he landed. Thick moss, moisture seeping out of the rock face, ferns growing in every crack. He should have been soaked from the knees down. Should have had mud ground into the fabric of his pants. Should have had moss fragments stuck in his boot treads. But his pants were dry, his boots were dry, almost like he'd never fallen at all. "Jacob," I said carefully, "come here for a second." He walked over. "What's up?" Let me see your boots." He looked down at them. "What about them?" "Just humor me." He lifted one foot, then the other. I crouched down, examined the soles closely. Standard Park Service issue, Vibram treads, worn in the expected places, heel strike, ball of the foot, but clean, too clean. No moss fragments caught in the treads, no fresh mud packed into the grooves, no organic matter from the fall site. "When did you change your boots?" I asked. "I didn't. Jacob, these aren't the boots you were wearing this morning." "Yes, they are." He sounded confused now, maybe a little annoyed. "Brett, what's going on? Why are you acting weird about my boots?" I stood up. My hand drifted toward my radio. Not a conscious movement, just instinct. Something in the back of my brain screaming that this wasn't right, that I needed backup, that I needed to get off this trail and back to civilization where things made sense. "I'm not acting weird," I said, keeping my voice level. "I'm just trying to figure out how you fell 15 feet onto wet rock and moss, and now your boots are completely dry. No mud, no organic material, nothing." Jacob looked at his feet, really looked at them, like he was seeing them for the first time. His expression went blank, just for a moment, like a computer screen freezing before it reboots, like his whole face was buffering. Then he smiled. "I guess I got lucky with where I landed." Must have hit a dry spot. There was no dry spot. I'd seen exactly where he fell. Seen the moss, seen the moisture, seen the ferns. There was no dry anywhere on that outcrop. But something in his smile made my stomach drop, made every hair on my arm stand up, made my hindbrain start screaming that I needed to run. Yeah, I said quietly. Lucky. I turned away, pretended to check my GPS, gave myself a moment to think, to process, to figure out what the hell was happening. Concussion, I told myself again. Severe concussion. He's confused, disoriented. Maybe he did change his boots and doesn't remember. Maybe there's a perfectly rational explanation for all this. But I didn't believe it. Not really. We started walking again. This time I made sure to stay behind him, kept my distance. 5 feet, 10 feet, enough that I could see his whole body. Watch how he moved. And it was wrong. All of it was wrong. His footsteps were too light, too quiet, like he wasn't putting his full weight down, like he was barely touching the ground, and his balance is perfect, too perfect. He never stumbled, never adjusted his weight on uneven terrain, never had to catch himself on uncertain footing, like he already knew exactly where every rock was, where every root was, like he'd walked this trail 1,000 times before. But Jacob had only been a ranger for 8 months. This was maybe his third time on Cascade Ridge. The trail narrowed, dense undergrowth on both sides, salal and Oregon grape creating walls of vegetation, the kind of terrain that makes you feel closed in despite the forest being thousands of acres wide. Jacob's pace had changed, more purposeful, less of that enthusiastic rookie energy. He walked like someone who knew exactly where he was going, like someone on a mission. We came to another junction, not marked on any map, just a game trail branching off to the north, barely visible, the kind of path made by deer or elk, not meant for humans. Jacob stopped, turned to look at me. His eyes were wrong. I can't explain it. Same color, same shape, but wrong. Like there was something looking out from behind them that wasn't Jacob. We should check that trail, he said. No, I said flatly. We stick to the main trail. That's the assignment. Could be damage. Should document it. That's a game trail, Jacob. Not our jurisdiction, not our problem. His jaw tightened, just slightly, a muscle jumping under his skin. Right. Sure. Main trail. But he stared at that game trail for a long moment before continuing, like something was calling to him from that direction, like he could hear voices I couldn't, like it was taking everything in him not to just turn and walk into those trees. My radio crackled, made me jump. Dispatch, checking in. Ranger Sullivan, 1100-hour status check. I thumbed the transmit button, kept my eyes on Jacob's back. Sullivan here. Continuing assessment. Currently at approximately mile 4.2 of the loop. Conditions normal. No additional incidents. Copy that. How's Ranger Morrow? Mobile and alert. No symptoms. Good to hear. Next check-in at 1300 hours. Affirmed. Sullivan out. I clipped the radio back. When I looked up, Jacob was watching me. Really watching me. The way a cat watches a bird through a window, patient, focused, calculating distance and trajectory and probability of success. Everything okay? I asked. He smiled. That wrong smile. Too wide. Too many teeth. Everything's fine, Brett. Why wouldn't it be? We hiked for another hour. The wrongness kept building, kept accumulating. Little details that individually might mean nothing, but together painted a picture I didn't want to acknowledge. The way his breathing never changed, never got harder on uphills, never evened out on descents, just constant, steady, like he wasn't actually exerting himself. The way he never got tired, never adjusted his pack, never stretched his shoulders or rolled his neck, just kept walking at the same exact pace, machine-like. The way he never looked at trail markers anymore, didn't check signage, didn't glance at junctions, just walked like he already knew the way. How much further to the truck? He asked suddenly. I checked my GPS. 2.3 miles. Maybe an hour at current pace. Seems like more, he said. Feels like we should be deeper in. We're not. We're on the return loop. You sure? I held up the GPS, showed him the screen. Our position clearly marked on the digital map. I'm sure. He looked at it, then looked at the trees around us, then back at the GPS, like he didn't trust it, like he thought I was lying to him. Okay, he said quietly, if you say so. We kept walking. The trail curved west. I could see glimpses of the access road through the trees now. Another mile, maybe less. Then we'd be back at the truck, back at the ranger station. Back where I could get Jacob properly evaluated, get him to a hospital, if needed, get him away from whatever this was. That's when I heard it. Faint at first, distant, a voice calling from somewhere off trail. Brett, don't trust it. I stopped dead. Froze mid-step. Jacob kept walking, didn't react at all, like he hadn't heard anything. You didn't hear that? I asked. He stopped. Turn around. Hear what? The voice came again, clearer this time, closer, and I recognized it. It was Jacob's voice. Brett, please. It's not me. Don't follow it. Coming from behind us. From the south. From the direction of the cliff where he'd fallen. The Jacob in front of me tilted his head, cocked it at an angle that was just slightly too far. Too much rotation. Like an owl. Like something that could turn its neck further than human anatomy should allow. I don't hear anything, he said. My hand went to my radio. Jacob, if you can hear me, key your radio twice. Static, then 2 deliberate clicks. Clear as day. Close enough that they came through immediately. No delay, no distance degradation. Which meant the real Jacob was close. Close enough for a strong radio signal. The thing wearing Jacob's uniform looked down at its own radio. Looked at it for a long moment. Didn't reach for it. Didn't try to respond. Just stared at it like it was trying to figure out what it was for. Then it looked at me. Those wrong eyes. That wrong smile. Radio malfunction, it said. Happens all the time out here. Interference from the terrain. I took 3 steps back. Put distance between us. Who are you? The smile widened. I'm Jacob. Jacob Morrow. You know me, Brett. We've been hiking together all morning. You checked my pupils. Counted my heartbeat. Said I was fine. Jacob's back there. I pointed south, toward where his voice had come from. You're not Jacob. Sure I am. It took a step toward me. Slow. Deliberate. Testing. I fell off the cliff, remember? You came down and examined me. Told dispatch I had no injuries. We decided to finish the assessment together. Stay back. Why are you being like this? Its voice changed. Not Jacob's voice anymore. My voice. Perfect mimicry. Exact pitch and cadence. We're partners, Brett. We're supposed to look out for each other. Trust each other. Another step closer. I fumbled for my bear spray. Got it unclipped, held it up. I said, stay back. It stopped. Looked at the orange canister in my hand. Then laughed. This wet, chittering sound. Like meat sliding across metal. Like nothing a human throat should be able to produce. That won't work on me, it said. Back to Jacob's voice now. But I appreciate the effort. Really. Shows initiative. What are you? It tilted its head again. That owl rotation. I'm what comes after. I'm the thing that fits into the spaces people leave behind. Jacob left a space when he fell. Left a shape in the world. I just filled it. Stepped into his outline. Where is he? Where you left him. It spread its arms. Wide. Too wide. Joints bending at angles that weren't quite right. At the bottom of the cliff. Cold now, probably. Shock setting in. Hypothermia. You should really go check on him. My radio crackled. Brett, please. Jacob's actual voice, weak, scared, pain making it thin. I can't move. My back. I think something's broken. Please. The thing in front of me grabbed for its radio. I didn't wait. I ran, not back toward Jacob's voice. I couldn't help him. Not with this thing between us. Not without backup. Not without weapons that actually worked. I ran forward, toward the trailhead, toward the truck, toward pavement and parking lots and the clean, bright lines that separate wilderness from civilization. I heard it behind me. Not running, walking, steady footfalls, but somehow keeping pace with my sprint. Its voice called after me, cycling through voices. My supervisor, Patterson, my ex-wife, Sarah, my father who'd been dead for 6 years. All of them saying variations of the same thing. Brett, wait. Brett, come back. Brett, why are you running? Brett, don't leave me here. I didn't look back. Couldn't look back. Just kept my legs pumping, my lungs burning, my heart trying to jackhammer through my ribs. The trail blurred around me. I lost my footing on a root. Caught myself on a tree trunk. Kept going. Branches whipped at my face. Didn't care. Just ran. And still, behind me, those steady footfalls. That impossible pace. Those voices that shouldn't exist. The tree line broke ahead. I could see the access road. Gravel and sunlight. The blue Park Service truck exactly where we'd left it 6 hours ago. I burst out of the forest at full speed. Hit the parking lot. My boots went from soft trail to hard asphalt, and I nearly collapsed from the sudden difference. Nearly went down to my knees from relief. Behind me, at the exact line where the forest ended and the parking lot began, it stopped. Just stopped. Stood there. In Jacob's uniform, Jacob's boots, Jacob's face. Perfect mimicry, perfect disguise. Just watching me. I fumbled for my keys, hands shaking so badly I dropped them twice. Finally got the truck door open, threw myself inside, slammed the door, locked it, all the locks, every single one. The thing at the tree line didn't move, didn't try to follow, just stood there at that boundary like it couldn't cross, like there was an invisible wall at the edge of the parking lot that it couldn't breach. It smiled at me, raised one hand, waved, slow, deliberate, almost friendly. Then it turned and walked back into the forest, unhurried, calm, like it had all the time in the world, like it could wait. My hands were shaking too badly to get the key in the ignition. Took 3 tries, finally got it. Engine turned over. I threw the truck in reverse, got us pointed toward the access road, shifted to drive. Looked in the rearview mirror one last time. Empty parking lot, empty trail, nothing at the tree line, like it had never been there at all. I radioed it in as I drove. Told dispatch we needed search and rescue at Cascade Ridge Trail. Immediate response. Officer down. Gave them coordinates for where Jacob had fallen. Told them to hurry. Told them he was injured. Told them I'd had to leave him because of... I couldn't explain it. Just said I'd had to leave him. Patterson's voice came back. Tense. Concerned. Sullivan, slow down. Are you injured? What happened? Just send SAR, I said. Please. He's been down there for hours. He's hurt. Copy that. Units are rolling. ETA 20 minutes. Sullivan, where are you? Driving back to station. I'll meet them there. Did you sustain any injuries? No. Stay on channel. Keep talking to me. But I didn't. I clipped the radio to the dash. Focused on driving. Focused on the road. Focused on not thinking about what I'd just seen. What I'd just left behind in those woods. They found Jacob 3 hours later. Search and rescue team of 6. Took them an hour to locate him. Another hour to stabilize him for transport. Another hour to get him out. He was exactly where I'd said he'd be. At the base of the cliff. Still lying on that rocky outcrop. Unconscious. Hypothermic. Core temperature at 93 degrees. 2 cracked ribs. Fractured collarbone. Compound fracture of the left radius. Severe concussion. All the injuries he should have had. All the injuries the thing in the woods hadn't had. They airlifted him to Seattle, put him in intensive care for 2 days. He woke up on day 3. Confused, disoriented, no memory of anything after the fall. Said he'd slipped, hit his head. Everything after that was blank. Didn't remember me examining him, didn't remember standing up, didn't remember hiking, didn't remember anything. The official report called it severe head trauma with retrograde amnesia and auditory hallucinations. Said I'd been so focused on him seeming okay that I had missed the signs of serious injury. Said the stress of the situation had caused me to misidentify his condition. Said I'd had a panic response when I realized my mistake. That I'd imagined him getting worse. Imagined him acting strange. That guilt and fear had caused me to dissociate from the reality of leaving an injured partner behind. They sent me to mandatory counseling, put me on administrative leave for 2 weeks, made me undergo psychological evaluation before I could return to fieldwork. But they couldn't explain Jacob's radio clicks, the ones I heard while the thing was standing right in front of me. The ones that came through clear and strong, no distance degradation, meaning the real Jacob was close by when I heard them. They couldn't explain why Jacob's actual boots, the ones on his actual feet when they found him, were soaked through, caked with mud, packed with moss fragments, exactly like they should have been after falling onto wet rock. And they couldn't explain where the other boots went, the clean ones, the dry ones, the ones the thing had been wearing. Nobody ever found those boots. Nobody ever found any other trace of what I'd been hiking with for 4 hours. No footprints that shouldn't be there. No evidence of a second person, nothing. Like it had never existed. Like I'd imagined the whole thing. Jacob came back to work 6 weeks later. Light duty at first. Desk work. Then half days. Finally full shifts. He didn't remember the fall. Didn't remember that day at all. The doctor said that was normal. Trauma suppression. The brain protecting itself from the memory of almost dying. But sometimes I catch him staring at the tree line, standing at the window of the ranger station, coffee going cold in his hand, just staring, like he's listening to something I can't hear, like something's calling him back to those woods, like he left part of himself out there and it wants the rest. I never partner with him anymore. Can't. Patterson understands, doesn't ask questions, just make sure we're on different rotations, different trails, different zones. Because every time I look at Jacob, I wonder, what if it tries again? What if next time I don't notice the boots? What if next time it's me who falls? And what if next time nobody notices the difference? If someone you know survives something they shouldn't, watch for the details, the small things that don't add up, the clean boots on muddy ground, the wrong memories, the missing exhaustion, the perfect balance. Because maybe they didn't survive. Maybe something else is wearing their face, learning their mannerisms, studying their voice, getting better at being them with every passing hour. And maybe by the time you realize it, it'll be too late to run. Story 2. The dry boots. The woman's hair was completely dry. We'd just pulled her out of Cascade Creek after she'd been in the water for 20 minutes. Her lips were blue from the cold, but her hair was bone dry. I radioed it in as shock. I should have radioed it in as something else. But I'm getting ahead of myself. September 7th, 2021, Mount Rainier National Park. I'd been a ranger there for 11 years, long enough to know that early September is when the park starts transitioning. Summer crowds thinning out, nights getting colder, creek levels dropping as the late summer melt slows down. It's actually one of the better times to be out there. Quieter, more manageable. I was doing a solo patrol that day. Standard route check along the Wonderland Trail section that runs parallel to Cascade Creek. We'd had some reports of trail washout near the creek crossing. Nothing major, just wanted to assess whether we needed to close the section or if it could wait until the next maintenance cycle. Left the White River Ranger Station at 9:30 in the morning. Temperature was already climbing. Forecast said it hit 72 by afternoon. Unusual for early September, but we'd been having a warm spell, Indian summer, my grandmother would have called it. The drive to the trailhead took 40 minutes. Winding mountain roads, forest so thick on both sides, it felt like driving through a green tunnel. I passed maybe 3 other vehicles the whole way. A couple in a Subaru with California plates, an old pickup with climbing gear in the bed, a silver sedan that I didn't get a good look at. Parked at the trailhead just after 10 in the morning, grabbed my gear, radio, first aid kit, water bladder with 3 liters, protein bars, sat phone as backup, bear spray on my hip even though black bears in that area are mostly skittish. It's just habit at this point. The trail started with a gentle descent through old growth, Douglas fir and western hemlock, massive trees, some of them probably 400 years old, the kind that make you feel small, make you remember that humans are just passing through, but the forest endures. I could hear Cascade Creek before I could see it. That constant white noise rush of water over rock gets louder as you get closer. By the time I reached the creek bank, it was the only sound in the world. The creek was running clear, maybe 15 feet across at this point. Not deep, 3 feet at most in the middle, shallower near the banks. Fast though. Early September means most of the snowmelt is done, but there's still enough flow to knock you down if you're not careful. I walked upstream, checking the bank for erosion, looking for undercut sections, places where the trail was getting too close to the water. Standard assessment work. That's when I saw her. Woman, maybe mid-30s, standing on the far bank, 50 yards upstream from where I was, wearing hiking clothes, dark blue jacket, khaki pants, boots that looked good quality. She had long brown hair pulled back in a ponytail. She was just standing there, looking at the water. "Hey," I called out, loud enough to carry over the creek noise. "Everything okay?" She didn't respond, didn't even turn around, just kept staring at the water. I started walking toward her, keeping to my side of the creek. Maybe she had earbuds in. Maybe she was one of those hikers who get so focused on the scenery they tune out everything else. "Ma'am?" I called again. "Park ranger, just checking in." Still nothing. I was maybe 30 yards away when she stepped into the water, not carefully, not testing the depth first, just walked straight in, like she was stepping off a curb onto a sidewalk. The current hit her immediately, knocked her sideways. She went under. Shit! I dropped my pack and ran. Downstream. You always run downstream in a water rescue. Current's gonna carry them. You need to get ahead of them. Get in position. I hit the bank 20 yards down. Could see her being swept toward me, arms flailing, head going under, coming back up. She wasn't screaming, wasn't calling for help, just fighting the water, in silence. I waded in, knee-deep first. The cold hit, like a physical blow. That snowmelt cold that goes straight through your bones. Makes your muscles seize up. Makes your breath catch in your throat. Thigh deep. The current was stronger than I expected. Pushing, insistent, trying to knock my feet out from under me. I had to lean into it, use my weight. Every step was a negotiation with the water. I found a boulder, big one, stable. Wedged myself against it. Got my footing solid. The woman was being swept toward me. 20 feet. 15. I could see her face now. Eyes wide. Mouth open. Arms flailing in that panicked, uncoordinated way that drowning people move. 10 feet. I reached out, timing it. Current's fast. You get one chance. Miss it, and she's past you. Gone downstream. Maybe hits a rock. Maybe gets pinned under a log. People die in 3 feet of water all the time. Fast current. Cold temperature. Just takes one mistake. 5 feet. I grabbed. Got her jacket. Nylon shell. Slippery. My fingers scrabbled for purchase. Found the collar. Held on. The current tried to rip her away. Tried to pull both of us under. But I had the boulder. Had my anchor point. I hauled her toward me, hand over hand, pulling her through the current. She wasn't helping, wasn't kicking, wasn't trying to grab onto me, just dead weight, completely limp, like a rag doll being dragged through water. I got her to the boulder, wrapped my arm around her waist, lifted. She was heavier than she looked. Waterlogged clothes add weight. I half carried, half dragged her toward the bank, my boots slipping on smooth stones, the current fighting me every step. We made it. I pulled her up onto the rocks. Flat section. Good drainage. She immediately rolled onto her side and coughed. Water came up. Not much. Maybe half a cup. Clear creek water mixed with foam. I rolled her onto her back. Started my assessment. Ma'am, can you hear me? Ma'am. She coughed. Water came up. Not much. Maybe a few ounces. She rolled onto her back. Looked up at me with these wide, terrified eyes. You're okay, I said. Automatic reassurance. Keep them calm. You're safe. I've got you. She was shaking. Full body tremors. Hypothermia response. Creek water is maybe 50 degrees this time of year. 20 minutes in that, you're looking at mild to moderate hypothermia. I pulled my emergency blanket from my pack, wrapped it around her shoulders, started checking vitals. Pulse was fast, maybe 110. Respirations elevated, skin cold and pale. Lips had that bluish tinge, classic cold water immersion. But her hair was completely dry. I mean bone dry. Not damp, not partially wet and drying. Dry. Like she'd blow dried it that morning, and it hadn't been touched since. I stared at it, tried to make it make sense. She'd been in the water. I'd seen her go under, multiple times. Head submerged, completely underwater. There was no way her hair should be dry. Ma'am, I said slowly, how long were you in the water? She looked at me, shaking, teeth chattering. I don't know. 20 minutes? Maybe longer? 20 minutes. Confirmed what I'd seen. But the hair. What's your name? Sarah, she said. Sarah Mitchell. Okay, Sarah. I'm Ranger Brennan. Tyler. You're going to be fine. I need to ask you some questions, okay? Standard protocol. She nodded. Are you here alone? No. My husband. He was ahead of me on the trail. We got separated. What's his name? Greg. Greg Mitchell. I pulled out my radio, keyed it. Ranger Brennan to dispatch. Static. Then the response. Go ahead, Brennan. I've got a situation at Cascade Creek, approximately 2.4 miles from White River Trailhead. Female hiker, mid-30s. Cold water immersion. Subject is conscious and alert, but showing signs of hypothermia. Requesting additional support and medical evaluation. Copy that. What's the subject's name? I looked at her. She was watching me. Something in her eyes. I couldn't place it. Sarah Mitchell. I said into the radio. Pause. Longer than it should have been. Stand by, Brennan. I frowned. Stood up. Walked a few feet away. Kept my voice low. Dispatch, what's the delay? Brennan. We have a Sarah Mitchell reported missing in that area 48 hours ago. Husband filed the report. The bottom dropped out of my stomach. Say again. Sarah Mitchell, age 34. Reported missing September 5th at approximately 1600 hours. Last seen on the Wonderland Trail near Cascade Creek. Is this the same individual? I turned to look at her. She was still sitting there, wrapped in the emergency blanket, shivering, looking cold and scared and exactly like a woman who'd just nearly drowned. Stand by, I said. September 5th, 2 days ago. But this woman was here. Now. Alive. Soaking wet. Except for her hair. Ma'am, I said, walking back to her. Sarah, when did you start your hike? This morning, she said. We left the trailhead around 8 this morning. September 7th. Yes. Not 2 days ago. She frowned. What? No, today. We started this morning. I crouched down in front of her, looked at her closely. Her hiking clothes were soaked, water still dripping from the fabric. Her boots were dark with moisture, but her hair, perfect ponytail, completely dry, not a strand out of place. Sarah, I need you to think carefully. Have you been out here longer than today? Is it possible you've been lost, disoriented? No. She looked confused now. No, we left this morning. I remember. We had breakfast at the lodge. Started hiking around 8. Greg was walking faster than me. I told him to go ahead. I'd catch up. And then she shook her head, and then I fell in the creek. You fell in? I think so. I don't really remember. I was standing on the bank, looking at the water, and then I was in it. I keyed my radio again. Dispatch, can you provide description of missing person Sarah Mitchell? Another pause. Then, Caucasian female, 5'6", approximately 130 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes, last seen wearing blue jacket, khaki hiking pants, brown hiking boots. I looked at the woman in front of me. Blue jacket, khaki pants, brown boots. Brennan, does the subject match description? I should have said yes. Should have confirmed it was her. Should have called for immediate evacuation and medical support. Instead, I said, negative. Subject does not match. Will continue assessment and advise. I don't know why I lied. Something in my gut. Something wrong. The hair. The timeline. The way she was looking at me. Copy that, Brennan. Standing by. I clipped the radio back. Sarah was still watching me. Am I in trouble? She asked quietly. No, I said. No, you're not in trouble. I just need to make sure you're okay. Let's get you warmed up. Can you walk? I think so. I helped her stand. She was steady on her feet. No wobbling, no weakness. For someone who'd just been in 50-degree water for 20 minutes, she was doing remarkably well. Too well. My pack, she said, looking around. I had a backpack. Where did you drop it? I'm not sure. Maybe upstream? We'll look for it, I said. But first, let's get you to the trailhead. Get you warmed up properly. You said your husband is out here? Yes. Greg. He was ahead of me. Did he see you fall in? I don't think so. He was. Maybe a quarter mile ahead? We were taking turns. He'd hike fast, wait for me, then go again. Okay, we'll find him. Don't worry. We started walking. I kept her on the trail, downstream, back toward the trailhead. She walked beside me, not stumbling, not showing any signs of exhaustion, just walking, like she was out for a casual afternoon hike. Do you have kids, Tyler? I stopped walking, turned to look at her. What? Kids. Do you have any? She was smiling, friendly, just making conversation, but something about it felt off. How do you know my first name? You told me. When you pulled me out, you said I'm Ranger Brennan. Tyler. That was true. I had said that. Standard introduction. First name builds rapport, makes people feel safer. But something about the way she said it back to me now, it felt different. Felt deliberate, like she'd been practicing. I have a daughter, I said, carefully. Why do you ask? Just making conversation. Trying to, I don't know, keep my mind off what just happened. She hugged the emergency blanket tighter around her shoulders. What's her name? I didn't answer right away. Something in my gut was screaming at me. A ranger's instinct, the thing you develop after enough years in the wilderness. The sixth sense that tells you when something's wrong before your conscious mind figures out what it is. I'd rather not discuss my personal life right now, ma'am. Let's focus on getting you warmed up and back too. Emma, right? She tilted her head. That same owl-like angle. She's 9? Or is it 10 now? I always forget. Kids grow up so fast. I stopped dead. Felt my heart rate spike. How do you know that? You mentioned it. She said it so casually. So matter of fact. No, I said. I didn't. I never mentioned my daughter's name, or her age, or anything about her. She blinked. Are you sure? I could have sworn. I'm completely sure. So I'm going to ask you one more time. How do you know my daughter's name? She looked confused now. Genuinely confused. Or doing a very good impression of it. I must have. Maybe I saw it somewhere. On your badge? Or social media? Do you have Facebook? My badge has my last name, not my daughter's name. And I don't have any social media. No Facebook, no Instagram, no Twitter, nothing. Oh. She was quiet for a moment, thinking, well, maybe I overheard you talking on the radio earlier. I haven't talked to anyone about my daughter on the radio or anywhere else today. Then I don't know. She shook her head, like she was genuinely trying to figure it out. I'm sorry. I'm confused. I feel like I know you, like we've met before. We haven't. Are you sure? I'm completely sure. She stared at me for a long moment, then smiled. Lucky guess, then. Emma's a common name, right? And 9 or 10, that's just a common age for park rangers' kids to be. Statistically, nothing about that logic made sense. But she said it with such confidence, such certainty. Like if she just stated it firmly enough, I'd accept it. Ma'am, I need you to stay right where you are. Why? The smile faded. What's wrong? Tyler, you're scaring me. Just don't move. I backed up. 3 steps. 5 steps. Put distance between us. Her face changed. Not dramatically. Just something in the eyes. Something cold sliding behind the mask of confusion and fear. Tyler. Her voice changed too. Softer. More pleading. Tyler, I'm scared. Please don't leave me out here. I don't understand what's happening. I almost drowned. I'm cold. I'm confused. And now you're treating me like I'm dangerous or something. You know things you shouldn't know, I said, keeping my voice level, professional. That's a problem. It's just a misunderstanding. I'm in shock. I hit my head maybe. I'm mixing things up. Your head is fine. I checked it. No contusions, no swelling, no tenderness. You didn't hit your head. Then I'm just confused. From the cold, from the trauma. People say weird things when they're hypothermic, right? That's normal. It was normal. She was right about that. Hypothermia can cause confusion, disorientation, mixing up details. It was a perfectly reasonable explanation, except her hair was still dry. And that wasn't reasonable at all. Tyler, her voice changed, softer, almost pleading. Tyler, I'm scared. Please don't leave me out here. I'm not leaving you. I just need to. I need to make a call. I turned away from her. Keyed the radio. Dispatch, Brennan. I need you to run a check on Sarah Mitchell. Missing person report from September 5th. I need confirmation on all details. Copy that. Stand by. I could hear Sarah behind me, breathing, just standing there, waiting. Brennan, we have Sarah Mitchell, age 34, reported missing by husband Gregory Mitchell. Last known location, Wonderland Trail, near Cascade Creek. Subject was on day 2 of planned 3-day backpacking trip. Failed to return to arranged pickup point. Vehicle still at White River Trailhead parking lot. Silver Honda Accord. Silver sedan. The one I had passed on my drive-in. Have you located the vehicle today? I asked. Checking. Yes. Vehicle is still present at White River Trailhead. Confirmed approximately 30 minutes ago. Still there. 2 days later. Sarah Mitchell never came back, but she was standing right behind me. I turned around. She was closer. Had moved while I was on the radio. Maybe 5 feet away now. Still had that confused, frightened expression. But something in her eyes. Something cold. Sarah, I said slowly, I need you to explain something to me. Okay. Your husband reported you missing 2 days ago. That's not possible. I saw him this morning. Your car has been at the trailhead for 48 hours. No, we just got here today. Then why is your hair dry? She blinked, reached up, touched her hair, like she was surprised to find it there. I don't know. Maybe it dried while we were walking. You were in 50-degree water for 20 minutes. Your clothes are soaked. Your boots are soaked. Your skin is still cold. But your hair is completely dry. That doesn't happen. That can't happen. She was quiet for a long moment, just looking at me. Then she smiled. Not the scared, confused smile from before. Something else. Wider. Wrong. You're very observant, Tyler. Who are you? I'm Sarah Mitchell. You pulled me out of the creek. Remember? No, you're not. How can you be sure? Because Sarah Mitchell has been missing for 2 days, which means you're either Sarah or you're something wearing her face. The smile widened. Does it matter? I look like her. I sound like her. I even know things she knew. Isn't that enough? Where is she? The real Sarah? It didn't answer right away. Just stood there, studying me, like it was trying to decide how much to tell me, how much I could handle. Downstream, it finally said. Voice still Sarah's voice, but the inflection was wrong. Too flat, too emotionless, like someone reading lines from a script they didn't understand. About half a mile, maybe a bit more. There's a log jam, big one. Been there for years. Trees pile up against it every spring when the melt comes. She got caught in it. When? September 5th. Right around sunset. 6:43 in the afternoon, if you want to be specific. Beautiful evening, really. That golden light you get sometimes in early September. Magic hour, photographers call it. She was taking photos of it. The way it hit the water made everything look like honey. My stomach turned. The detail, the specificity. This thing had been there, had watched. She got too close to the edge, it continued. Conversational now, almost chatty. Banks are undercut there. Erosion. The roots don't hold like they should. She was leaning out, getting the angle right. The ground gave way. She went in, hit her head on a rock on the way down. Sharp one, granite, split her skull open. She was dead before she went fully under. You watched her die. I watched her leave. It corrected. Watched the space she left behind. The exact shape of Sarah Mitchell, and I thought, that's a good shape. That's one worth filling. You're wearing a dead woman's face. I'm wearing a dead woman's everything, it said. No shame. No guilt. Just statement of fact. Her face, her body, her memories, everything she was. I stepped into it, like putting on clothes that fit just right. That's not possible. Says who? You humans are so limited in what you think is possible. You see the world through such narrow parameters. Life and death. Real and not real. Human and not human. But there are things in between. Things that slip through the cracks in your understanding. What are you? It smiled. That too wide smile. I'm what fills the empty spaces. I'm what steps into the shapes people leave behind when they die in wild places. The forest takes them. Takes their bodies. Takes their stories. And I wear what's left. Give them a kind of continuation. It's almost beautiful if you think about it. There's nothing beautiful about stealing someone's identity. Identity. It laughed. Sarah's laugh, but hollow, empty of anything human. You think identity is something sacred, something unique. But really, Tyler, what is identity? It's just patterns, behaviors, memories, speech patterns, mannerisms, all things that can be learned, copied, replicated. If I walk like Sarah walked, talk like she talked, remember what she remembered, am I really not Sarah? You're a thing pretending to be Sarah. And you're a collection of cells and electrical impulses pretending to be Tyler Brennan. We're not so different. You're just organic processes following patterns. I'm something else following the same patterns. The end result looks the same from the outside. It's not the same. Isn't it, though? It took a step closer. I took a step back. Think about it. If Greg Mitchell, poor grieving Greg, if he saw me right now, walking and talking and being Sarah, would he know the difference? Would he be able to tell? Or would he just be so relieved, so grateful that his wife was alive that he wouldn't question it? He'd know. Would he? People see what they want to see, Tyler. They don't look too closely at miracles. They just accept them. Be grateful for them. If Sarah walked out of these woods today, alive, healthy, with some story about getting lost and confused, he'd believe it. Because the alternative is that she's dead. And people don't want to believe that. Behind it, on the trail, I saw movement, caught it in my peripheral vision. A figure, male, coming up the path. The thing wearing Sarah's face saw my eyes shift, turned to look, smiled even wider. Right on time, it said. The man on the trail raised his hand, waved. Tyler, he called out. His voice was wrong, too. That same flat quality. Tyler Brennan? Park ranger? I'm Greg Mitchell. I've been looking for my wife. My hand moved toward my bear spray. Slow, casual, trying not to telegraph what I was doing. Stay back. Why? Greg Thing stopped about 15 feet away. Looked confused. Concerned. What's wrong? Is Sarah okay? I'm fine, honey, Sarah Thing said. Turned toward him. Smiled. This ranger saved me. I fell in the creek. He pulled me out. They looked at each other. Something passed between them. Some communication I couldn't decode. Then they both turned to look at me. And they were smiling. Same smile. Same too-wide expression. Same wrongness. You're not Greg Mitchell, I said, keeping my voice steady, trying not to show fear. Predators can smell fear. These things, whatever they were, probably could too. Sure I am. Greg Thing reached into his pocket, pulled out a wallet, flipped it open, showed me a driver's license. See? Gregory James Mitchell, age 41, Seattle address. I filed the missing person report 2 days ago. Been looking for Sarah ever since. And here she is, alive, thanks to you. I looked at the license. It looked real. Could have been real. Could have been something this thing had taken from the real Greg Mitchell's body. Where's your car? I asked. Parking lot. White River Trailhead. Silver Honda Accord. You want the license plate number? When did you last see your wife? September 5th. Around 4 in the afternoon. We were hiking together. She wanted to stop and take photos. I wanted to keep moving, make it to our campsite before dark. We agreed to meet up. She never came. Every detail correct. Every answer exactly what the real Greg Mitchell would say. But the voice was wrong. The eyes were wrong. And most damning of all, your boots, I said. They're clean. He looked down. What? Your boots. You said you've been searching for 2 days, hiking these trails, looking for your wife. But your boots are spotless. No mud, no trail dust, no wear. Like you just put them on 5 minutes ago. He looked at his boots. Then at Sarah Thing. She shrugged. Guess we're not very good at this yet, she said. Not yet, Greg Thing agreed. But we're learning. Every time we take a new shape, we get better. The details come easier. Soon we'll get the boots right, too. How many of you are there? I asked. Just us, Sarah Thing said. For now. But you're very perceptive, Tyler. Very aware. You notice details. That makes you interesting. Interesting how? The shape you'd leave behind, the space you'd create. It would be a good fit. Greg Thing started walking toward me. Slow, unhurried. You're the right size, right build, Right level of authority. People trust rangers. People listen to rangers. I backed up. Stay away from me. We're not going to hurt you, Sarah Thing said. It doesn't hurt. You just go to sleep. And then someone else wakes up wearing your face, wearing your life. It's almost peaceful. They were flanking me now, one on each side, hurting me. I realized, with cold clarity, that they were moving me away from the main trail, toward a game trail that led deeper into the forest. Come with us, Tyler, Sarah Thing said. Just a little further. There's a place we want to show you. No, it won't take long. Just a few minutes. You won't even remember. I ran. Not down their path. Back toward the creek, toward the sound of running water. Some instinct in my brain screaming that water meant safety. Water meant boundary. Water meant escape. I crashed through undergrowth, branches whipping at my face. Behind me I could hear them, not running, walking. That same steady, inhuman pace, but somehow keeping up. Like they knew exactly where I was going. Like they were driving me somewhere. I burst out of the tree line at the creek bank. The water was loud, fast, cold. There was a fallen log spanning the creek 30 feet upstream. Natural bridge, maybe 2 feet wide, covered in moss. I ran for it, scrambled up onto the log, started crossing. 1 foot in front of the other, arms out for balance. Don't look down. Don't think. Just move. Halfway across, I looked back. They were standing at the edge of the creek, both of them, right where the water met the bank. Not crossing, not moving, just standing there. You can't stay there forever, Sarah Thing called out. I can make it to the other side, I yelled back. And then what? We'll just wait. We're very patient. We have all the time in the world. You have to sleep eventually. Have to come back eventually. Running water, I said, understanding clicking into place. You can't cross running water. They didn't respond. But the expressions on their faces, confirmation enough. I finished crossing the log, jumped down on the far bank, stood there, 30 feet of creek water between us. They watched me, motionless, patient. The real Sarah Mitchell, I called out. Downstream, half a mile, log jam, that's what you said. Sarah Thing tilted its head. That's right. Her husband is looking for her. He filed a missing person report. He deserves to know what happened to his wife. She's dead, Tyler. Has been for 2 days. Knowing won't change that. Knowing will just hurt. He still deserves to know. I pulled out my radio, never taking my eyes off them. Dispatch, Brennan. I need immediate search and rescue to Cascade Creek. I have information on missing person Sarah Mitchell. Go ahead, Brennan. Subject is deceased. Located approximately half a mile downstream from my current position. Request full recovery team. Long pause. Copy that. Are you certain? I looked at the things on the far bank. They were watching me, still, silent, like mannequins. Confirmed. I'm certain. SAR team is mobilizing. ETA 45 minutes. What's your current status? I'm safe. Across the creek from last known position. We'll hold here until team arrives. Copy that. Stay on channel. I sat down on a rock, kept the creek between me and them. They didn't move, just stood there, watching, waiting. After maybe 10 minutes, Sarah Thing spoke. You're going to tell them about us. Probably. They won't believe you. Maybe not. They'll say, you're traumatized, delusional, that finding a body affected you. They'll put you on leave, make you see a counselor. Probably, I said again. So why do it? Because someone needs to know. Someone needs to understand that you exist, that you're out here. Greg Thing laughed. And what will they do with that information? Post warning signs? Beware of entities that wear faces? Close the park? No, they'll bury it. File it away. Pretend it never happened. Because acknowledging us, that breaks too many rules. Violates too many assumptions about how the world works. He was probably right. But I didn't say so. We waited. They stood. I sat. The creek ran between us, and they couldn't cross it. After 30 minutes, I heard voices, human voices. The SAR team coming up the trail from the opposite direction. 3 rangers, 2 volunteers. They saw me first. Brennan, one of the rangers, guy named Stevens, waved. You okay? I'm fine. Body is downstream. Half a mile. Caught in logjam on the north bank. Copy that. We'll check it out. You sure you're okay? You look rough. I glanced across the creek. Empty bank. No one standing there. The Sarah thing and Greg thing were gone. Just vanished. Like they'd never been there at all. Yeah, I said quietly. I'm fine. They found Sarah Mitchell 20 minutes later. Exactly where the thing said she'd be. Caught in a logjam. Dead for approximately 48 hours. Cause of death. Blunt force trauma to the head consistent with a fall. Accidental drowning. Ruled as tragic accident. Her husband identified the body that evening. Greg Mitchell, 41 years old. Engineer from Seattle. Devastated. Broke down completely when they told him. They had to sedate him. The real Greg Mitchell, not the thing I'd seen on the trail. I filed my report. Said I'd found Sarah in the water. Performed rescue. Realized she was deceased. Called it in. Standard procedure. Nobody questioned it. Nobody asked about the dry hair. Nobody asked why I'd been on the far side of the creek when SAR found me. They put me on 3 days administrative leave anyway. Said finding a body is traumatic. Said I should take time to process. Gave me the number for the employee assistance program. I didn't call. Instead, I went back to my apartment. Sat in the dark. Thought about what I'd seen. What I'd almost become. And I made myself a promise. If I ever pull someone from water again, if I ever rescue someone who should be soaked but isn't, if I ever see clean boots on muddy ground or dry hair after cold water immersion, I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to chalk it up to shock or adrenaline or my own misperception. I'm going to run. I'm going to get to the nearest boundary. Water, pavement, light, something. And I'm going to stay there until real help arrives. Because the things in the woods are patient. They're clever. They learn fast. And they're always looking for the next shape to fill, the next face to wear, the next life to step into. The forest takes what it wants. Someone has to wear the faces of the lost. I just made damn sure it wasn't going to be mine. 3 weeks later, I saw her again. Sarah thing. Or maybe it was just a woman who looked like Sarah. Hard to tell. She was at the White River Visitor Center, in line for coffee. She smiled at me. I didn't smile back. Her hair was dry. Perfect. Not a strand out of place. I walked past her. Didn't stop. Didn't engage. Behind me, I heard her laugh. Quiet. Almost inaudible under the coffee shop noise. But I heard it. And I knew if you pull someone from water and they're completely dry, don't turn your back on them. Don't let them lead you anywhere isolated. Don't trust the face they're wearing, no matter how real it looks. Get to a boundary. Running water, pavement, light. Somewhere they can't follow. And if they say they know you, if they mention details they shouldn't know, if they smile too wide or move too smooth, run. Because the forest is full of empty spaces, full of shapes left behind by the lost and the dead. And something has to fill those spaces. Something hungry. Something patient. Something that's getting better at pretending to be human with every face it wears. Story 3. The Second Call. Dispatch said Ranger Henley was requesting backup at the north trailhead. I could see Ranger Henley standing 30 feet away from me when the call came through. He looked at his own radio, confused. Then we both heard his voice respond to dispatch. That's when he pulled his sidearm. Let me explain how we got there. November 18th, 2020. Glacier National Park, Montana. Late season. The kind of cold that makes your teeth ache. Temperature was hovering around 23 degrees. Snow on the ground. Not much. Maybe 3 inches. But enough to make everything look clean and pristine and dangerous. My partner that day was Tom Henley, 54 years old, been a ranger for 22 years, most of that time spent in Glacier. The man knew these mountains like most people know their own living rooms, knew every trail, every backcountry route, every place where weather could turn on you in minutes. We were doing end-of-season checks, preparing trails for winter closure, making sure signs were secured, checking shelters, documenting anything that needed repair come spring. Routine work. The kind of thing that fills the dead time between tourist season and full winter lockdown. The park was mostly empty, maybe a dozen visitors in the entire area, handful of winter hikers, a couple of photographers trying to catch early snow shots. Nobody in our section, just us, 2 rangers. 6 miles from the nearest road, radio contact only. We'd started at the Going to the Sun Road Eastern Access Point at 8:30 in the morning. Hiked in on the Piegan Pass Trail, checking markers, making notes. Tom was in front. He always led. Something about being senior ranger. Something about knowing the route better. I didn't argue. Wasn't worth it. Got about 2 more miles, Tom called back, his voice muffled by the scarf wrapped around his face. Then we hit the North Trailhead Junction. Check the warming hut there. Make sure it's secured for winter. Should be back to the truck by 1400 hours. Copy that, I said. The forest was quiet, that particular kind of quiet you only get in winter. Snow dampens sound, absorbs it, makes everything feel muffled, distant, like the whole world is wrapped in cotton. Our boots crunched on the trail, rhythmic, steady. That was the only sound. Just our footsteps and our breathing and the occasional creak of tree branches weighted down with snow. My radio crackled, made me jump. Sound was harsh in the silence, cut through the muffled quiet like a knife. White River Dispatch to Ranger Henley. I looked ahead at Tom. He was still walking. Steady pace, shoulders square. He didn't reach for his radio. Didn't slow down, didn't respond. Just kept crunching through the snow like he hadn't heard it. White River Dispatch to Ranger Henley, the voice repeated. Female dispatcher. Sounded like Martinez. She'd been working the board for 3 years. Professional. Efficient. No nonsense. Come in, please. Tom stopped, turned around slowly, looked at me. His face was confused. Eyebrows drawn together. Mouth slightly open like he was about to say something but forgot what. He pulled out his radio, held it in his gloved hand for a moment, just staring at it. Then he keyed the mic. This is Ranger Henley. Go ahead, dispatch. Static. That hollow, empty sound of dead air. Then Martinez's voice came back. Ranger Henley, we have you requesting backup at the North Trailhead Junction. Code 3. What's your status? Code 3. Emergency response. Immediate assistance required. Tom looked at me. His face had gone from confused to pale. Actually pale. I could see it even under his beard, under the cold, reddened skin. Dispatch, he said slowly, carefully, like he was walking through a minefield. I didn't request backup. I haven't transmitted anything in. He checked his watch. In over 2 hours. I'm currently on trail approximately 2 miles south of North Junction with Ranger Hayes, Russell Hayes. We're conducting routine end-of-season assessment. Weather check, trail markers, standard procedure. Long pause, longer than it should have been. Dispatch responses are usually immediate, quick, efficient. This pause stretched out. 5 seconds, 10, 15. Finally, stand by, Ranger Henley. Tom clipped his radio back to his belt, looked at me, really looked at me. His eyes were scanning my face, like he was trying to read something there. What the hell was that about? He asked. His voice was tight, controlled, the way it got when he was trying very hard not to show he was rattled. No idea, I said. Maybe someone else used your call sign by mistake? Nobody uses someone else's call sign. That's not how this works. That's basic protocol. Radio discipline is the first thing they teach you. Day 1. You identify yourself, you use your own call sign, you don't speak for anyone else, ever. He was right. I knew he was right. Radio protocol was drilled into every ranger from day 1. It was sacrosanct. You don't mess with radio communication in the field. Lives depend on clear, accurate information. Tom's radio crackled again, made both of us flinch. Ranger Henley, we show a transmission from your radio approximately 8 minutes ago requesting immediate backup at North Trailhead Junction. Code 3. Officer needs assistance. Can you confirm or deny this transmission? Tom's hand moved to his radio. I noticed his fingers were shaking. Not from cold. We'd been out and worse. This was something else. Fear, maybe. Confusion. His thumb hovered over the transmit button for a moment before pressing it. Dispatch, I deny. Negative. I have not made any transmissions in the last... He checked his watch again. In the last 2 hours and 17 minutes. My radio has been secured on my belt since our last scheduled check-in at 0820 hours. I did not request backup. I did not transmit code 3. I did not call for officer assistance. Another pause. Then a different voice came through. Deeper, more authoritative. Patterson, our supervisor. Guy had been running the district for 12 years. Seen everything. Or thought he had. Henley, this is Patterson. We have your voice on recording requesting backup. Timestamp shows 10:43 hours. That's 17 minutes ago. Are you telling me you didn't make that call? That's exactly what I'm saying, sir. Is your radio functioning properly? Any malfunction? Any damage? Negative. Radio is functioning normally. No damage. No malfunction that I'm aware of. Are you alone out there? Negative. I'm with Ranger Hayes. Russell Hayes. He's been with me continuously since we left the trailhead this morning at 0830 hours. Put Hayes on. Tom pulled the radio from his belt. Extended it toward me. His hand was definitely shaking now. I took it. The plastic was warm from being against his body. I keyed the transmit button. This is Ranger Hayes. Badge number 2938. I can confirm Ranger Henley has been in my direct visual contact continuously since we began this morning's patrol. He has not made any radio transmissions that I'm aware of. Patterson's voice came back. Professional. But I could hear the edge in it, the concern. Hayes, has Henley's radio been out of his possession at any time this morning? Negative, sir. It's been on his belt the entire time. Has he left your sight at any point? I thought about it. Really thought. Briefly, sir, at approximately 0945 hours when he went into the tree line. But that was less than 2 minutes, and I could hear him the entire time. What was he doing in the tree line? Biological necessity, sir. Copy that. Has anyone else been in your area? Other rangers? Civilians? Anyone? Negative, sir. No other personnel. No civilians. Trail conditions show no fresh tracks except ours. We're alone out here. The longest pause yet. I could almost hear Patterson thinking, processing, trying to make this make sense within his framework of what was possible. Stand by, he finally said. Do not proceed to North Junction. Maintain current position. We're sending backup units. ETA 45 minutes. Do not engage with anyone claiming to be park personnel until backup arrives. Confirm? Confirmed, I said. Handed the radio back to Tom. We stood there, on the trail. Snow falling around us. Light flakes drifting down through the tree canopy. Landing on our shoulders, on our hats, melting in the warmth of our breath. It should have been peaceful. Should have been beautiful. But all I could feel was cold. Cold that had nothing to do with temperature. This doesn't make sense, Tom said. His voice was quiet now, almost a whisper, like he was afraid of being overheard. How could dispatch receive a transmission from my radio when I didn't send one? How could they have my voice? Audio analysis doesn't lie. If they're saying it's my voice, it's my voice. Equipment malfunction? I offered. But even as I said it, I knew it sounded weak. Hollow. Radio glitch? Maybe your radio transmitted accidentally? Pocket transmission or something? Tom pulled out his radio, held it up, turned it over in his hands, examining it like he'd never seen it before. Not possible. Radio's off unless I key the transmit button. Dead man switch. You have to actively press it, and even if it somehow transmitted on its own, how would it form words? How would it say requesting backup and code 3 and officer needs assistance? That's not static. That's not interference. That's not random noise. That's coherent speech. Someone speaking. Someone using complete sentences. Someone using your voice. I said quietly. He looked up at me. His eyes were wide. Too wide. What? Patterson said it was your voice. Not just your call sign. Not just someone claiming to be you. Your actual voice. Audio signature match. Acoustic analysis. That's what he said. Tom's face went even paler. I didn't think that was possible. But color drained from his cheeks, from his lips. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. Or maybe like he was becoming one. That's not possible, he said. You can't fake a voice signature. Not well enough to fool acoustic analysis. The software looks at pitch, at cadence, at resonance, at 100 different factors. It's like a fingerprint, unique, individual. You can't copy it, you can't fake it, unless. I didn't finish the sentence. Didn't know how to finish it. Unless what? Tom's voice was sharp now, demanding. Unless what, Russell? Unless it actually was you. Your actual voice. But not you. He stared at me. That doesn't make any sense. None of this makes sense. My radio crackled. My own radio this time. Clipped to my shoulder strap. The sound made both of us jump. Made my heart rate spike. White River Dispatch to Ranger Hayes. I pulled it out. Keyed it with shaking fingers. Hayes here. Hayes. We're getting another transmission. Different frequency this time. Ranger Henley is now reporting he's at the North Junction warming hut. Timestamp. Stand by. Brief pause. Papers rustling in the background. Timestamp shows 10:58 hours. That's 3 minutes ago. Says he has visual contact with 2 individuals matching your descriptions approaching from the South Trail. Advises extreme caution. Possible imposters. Possibly armed. Requesting immediate backup. Ice ran down my spine. Actual physical sensation. Like cold water being poured over my head. Trickling down my back. Dispatch. Ranger Henley is standing 3 feet from me. Right now. At this moment. He is not at North Junction. He has not moved from this location since we last transmitted. Hayes. The voice signature matches. We've run it through acoustic analysis twice. This is Ranger Thomas Henley's voice. 99.7% match. As close to certainty as the software can get. I looked at Tom. He looked like he was going to be sick. His face had gone from pale to green. Actual green. His hand was pressed against his stomach like he was trying to hold something down. Dispatch, I said, keeping my voice steady, professional, even though everything in me was screaming. We have a situation. Recommend immediate supervisor contact. Possible security breach. Possible. I searched for words that wouldn't sound insane. Couldn't find any. Possible unauthorized use of Ranger credentials and voice identification. Negative on security breach, the dispatcher said. Martinez. I was sure of it now. Transmission is coming from Henley's assigned radio frequency. Proper encryption protocols. Proper authentication codes. Digital signature matches his assigned unit. This is coming from Ranger Henley's actual radio, not a copy, not a clone. His actual issued equipment. Tom grabbed his radio off his belt, held it up. Then how the hell is this here? He shouted. Not at me. At the radio. At dispatch. At the universe. If my radio is transmitting from the warming hut, how is it here in my hand? No response. Just static. Then, stand by, Ranger Henley. Tom's hands were shaking violently now. The radio was vibrating in his grip. This isn't possible. This can't be happening. Tom, I said. Quiet. Calm. The way you talk to someone who's about to panic. We need to stay calm. We need to think clearly. My radio crackled. My own radio this time. White River Dispatch to Ranger Hayes. I pulled it out. Hayes here. Hayes, we're getting another transmission. Ranger Henley is now reporting he's at the North Junction warming hut. Says he has eyes on. Stand by. Pause. Says he has eyes on two individuals matching your descriptions approaching from the south. Advises extreme caution. Possible imposters. Ice ran down my spine. Dispatch, Ranger Henley is standing 3 feet from me. He is not at North Junction. He has not moved from this location. Hayes, the voice signature matches. We have acoustic analysis. This is Ranger Henley's voice. I looked at Tom. He looked like he was going to be sick. Dispatch, I said, keeping my voice steady. Professional. We have a situation. Recommend immediate supervisor contact. Possible. I didn't know what to call it. Possible radio spoofing. Possible security breach. Negative on radio spoofing, dispatch said. Transmission is coming from Henley's assigned radio frequency. Proper encryption, proper authentication codes. This is coming from Henley's radio. Tom grabbed his radio, keyed it. This is the real Tom Henley, badge number 3742. I am currently on trail 2 miles south of North Junction. I have not transmitted any backup requests. I am not at the warming hut. Whatever you're receiving is not coming from me. Silence. Then we heard it, coming from up the trail, from the north, from the direction we'd been walking. A voice. Tom's voice, coming through a radio speaker. Dispatch. This is Ranger Henley. I can see them now. 2 individuals, approximately 1.8 miles south of my position. Advise extreme caution. They are armed. Repeat. They are armed. The voice was coming from the trees. Maybe 100 yards ahead. Up the trail. Exactly where the North Junction would be. Tom's hand moved to his sidearm, the Glock 40 on his hip. Standard Ranger issue. Most of us never draw it, never fire it except for qualifications. But his hand was on it now, thumb on the retention. Russell, he said quietly, we need to get off this trail. And go where? Anywhere but here. My radio crackled again, Patterson's voice. Hayes, Henley, both of you, stop transmitting. Stop moving. We're trying to sort this out. Sort it out? Tom's voice was rising, getting sharp. Patterson, there's something up there using my voice, using my radio codes. Something that knows exactly where we are. Henley, calm down. There's a rational explanation. Is there? Is there a rational explanation for how my voice is coming from 2 places at once? I was looking up the trail, into the trees, trying to see something, anything, but there was just snow, just gray tree trunks, just the gathering shadows of late morning forest. Then I saw it, a figure, maybe 70 yards away, standing just off the trail, wearing a ranger uniform. Dark green pants, gray jacket, wide-brimmed ranger hat, standing perfectly still. Tom, I said. 10 o'clock, 70 yards. He turned, saw it. His hand tightened on his sidearm. The figure raised a radio. We couldn't hear it from this distance, but we saw it, saw the motion, saw it bring the radio to its mouth. And then both our radios crackled. Dispatch, this is Ranger Henley. Subjects have spotted me. They appear agitated. Recommend immediate response team. Tom pulled his weapon. Smooth motion. Muscle memory from thousands of hours of training. Show me your hands, he yelled. Federal agent, show me your hands. The figure didn't move. Just stood there, radio still up near its face. I said, show me your hands. It lowered the radio. Slowly. Put it on its belt, then raised both hands, palms out, universal gesture of non-threat. But it was too far away to see details, too far to see a face, just a silhouette in ranger uniform, standing in snow. Russell, Tom said, I need you to look at me. I turned. He was holding his radio out, showing me the display. What am I looking for? The last transmission. The timestamp. I looked. Last transmission from his radio. 0822 hours. Over 2 hours ago. Back at the trailhead. Standard check-in. You haven't transmitted since we started hiking, I said. Exactly. So how was dispatch receiving transmissions from my radio? I didn't have an answer. Tom keyed his radio. Dispatch, Henley. I need you to shut down my radio frequency, right now. Whatever's transmitting, it's not me. Kill the frequency. Lock it out. Henley, we can't just shut down ranger frequencies. We need to maintain communication. Then, I'm going radio silent. Hayes and I are proceeding to North Junction. Do not trust any transmissions from my call sign. Do you understand? Do not respond to my voice unless you have visual confirmation it's actually me. Henley. He turned off his radio, clipped it back to his belt. Tom, that's against protocol, I said. Protocol doesn't cover this. He was still watching the figure in the trees, whatever that is. It's not running. It's not hiding. It's just standing there, watching us, like it wants us to see it. Maybe it's another ranger, maybe there's been some kind of communication mix-up, and Russell, look at the snow. I looked down. Our footprints, clear in the fresh snow, leading back down the trail the way we'd come. Then I looked ahead, up the trail, toward where the figure was standing. There were more footprints, leading north, fresh, made within the last hour based on how crisp the edges were. Boot prints, same size as Tom's, same tread pattern. I knew because I'd been staring at Tom's prints for the last 4 hours as we hiked. Tom, I said slowly, when did you walk up there? I didn't. Then whose prints are those? He didn't answer, just stared at the tracks. I could see his jaw working, grinding his teeth. That thing he did when he was stressed. A figure in the trees moved, took a step forward, then another, walking toward us, slow, deliberate, not threatening, just approaching. Tom raised his weapon. Stop right there. Do not approach. I will fire. The figure stopped. 30 yards away now, close enough to see details. It was wearing Tom's face. I mean exactly Tom's face. Same weathered skin, same gray-brown beard, same crow's feet around the eyes, same scar on the left cheek from a hiking accident in 2012. Everything. Perfect copy. Jesus Christ, I whispered. Don't look at it, Tom said. Don't make eye contact. Just back up. Slow. Keep your eyes on me, not on that thing. I backed up. 1 step, 2 steps, never taking my eyes off Tom, the real Tom, the one standing next to me. Except, how did I know he was the real one? The thought hit me like ice water. How did I know? We'd been together all morning, yes, but I had lost sight of him a few times. When we'd checked that outhouse at mile 2, when he'd gone into the tree line to take a piss. Small gaps, little moments where I couldn't see him. What if something had switched them out during one of those moments? What if the thing wearing Tom's face was the real Tom, and the thing standing next to me was... Russell, Tom's voice. Sharp. I can see you thinking it. Don't. I'm me. That thing is not me. You know me. We've worked together for 6 years. You know my voice. My mannerisms. That thing. It's wrong. You can feel it's wrong. How do I know you're not the wrong one? Because I'm scared. His voice cracked. Just slightly. That thing isn't scared. Look at it. Does it look scared? Does it look confused? Does it look like anything a human would feel in this situation? I looked at the figure, 30 yards away, still standing there, still wearing Tom's face, still perfectly calm, no fear, no confusion, no emotion at all, just waiting. Okay, I said, okay. You're Tom. What do we do? We get to the warming hut. It's got electric lights, generator backup. If that thing is what I think it is, it won't go near artificial light, won't cross a lit threshold. What do you think it is? Something old. Something that's been in these mountains longer than the park has existed, longer than white people have been here. The tribes, the Blackfeet, they had stories. things that steal faces, things that wear skins that aren't theirs. I always thought they were just stories. We started backing up, keeping our eyes on the figure. It watched us, didn't follow, just watched. Then my radio crackled. Ranger Hayes, this is Ranger Henley. I'm at the warming hut. Where are you? Why aren't you responding? I looked at my radio. Tom looked at his radio. Don't respond, he said. Ranger Hayes, if you can hear this, I need you to confirm your position. Are you with the imposter? Blink twice if you're in danger. That doesn't even make sense, I said. How would I blink at a radio? It's testing you, seeing if you'll respond. Don't. Another voice came through. Different, higher pitched. But I recognized it. It was my voice. Tom? Tom, where are you? I can't find you. Tom, I'm scared. Something's wrong. Tom, please answer me. My voice. Coming through. My own radio. Calling for Tom. Except I wasn't saying those words. My mouth wasn't moving. Tom's face had gone white. Turn it off. Turn off your radio. Now. I reached for the power switch. My hands were shaking. Got it turned off. Silence. Except not silence. Behind us. Back down the trail. The way we'd come. Footsteps. Crunching in snow. We both turned. 3 figures. Maybe 50 yards back. All wearing ranger uniforms. All walking toward us. Steady pace. Not running. Not rushing. Just walking. As they got closer, I could see their faces. All 3 of them were Tom. Perfect copies. Same face. Same build. Same uniform. 3 Tom Henleys walking up the trail toward us. North, Tom said. We go north. To the warming hut. Run. We ran. Awkward. Clumsy. Snow grabbing at our boots. Trail slippery under fresh powder. Behind us, I could hear them. Multiple footsteps. All in sync. All keeping pace. Not running. Still just walking. But somehow keeping up with our sprint. I risked to glance back. 5 of them now. All Tom. All walking. All wearing that same calm, empty expression. Don't look back, Tom yelled. Just run. The warming hut appeared ahead. Small structure. Maybe 12 by 12 feet. Log construction. Peaked roof heavy with snow. Single door. 2 windows. Solar panels on the roof feeding a battery bank inside. Tom hit the door first, yanked it open. We tumbled inside. He slammed it shut, through the bolt. The interior was dark. Cold. But not as cold as outside. The batteries were still good. Tom found the light switch, flipped it. Fluorescent lights flickered on, harsh white light. Artificial, clean, the kind of light that doesn't exist in nature. We stood there, breathing hard, watching the door. Nothing happened. 60 seconds passed. 90. 2 minutes. Tom moved to the window, peered out through the frosted glass. They're still out there, he said, standing at the tree line, maybe 20 feet from the hut, just standing there. I looked out the other window. More of them. 8, maybe 10. All Tom, all standing in a rough semicircle around the hut, all watching, all waiting. Why aren't they coming in? I asked. The light. Tom pointed at the fluorescent fixtures. They don't like it, can't cross it. Something about artificial light. It disrupts them, breaks the illusion they're holding. How do you know this? I don't. I'm guessing. But my grandmother, she was Blackfeet. She told me stories. Said if you see something wearing a face it shouldn't have, you get to light. Fire. Electric light. Anything humans made. They can't follow you into that. They're creatures of wilderness, of shadow, of the spaces between things. Human light. Human creation. It pushes them back. We sat down on the bench, backs against the wall, facing the door. Tom's weapon was still in his hand, safety off. Finger indexed along the slide. How long do we wait? I asked. Until backup arrives, until daylight, until they get bored and leave. I don't know. Tom, why you? Why did they take your face? He was quiet for a long time. Then, maybe because I'm old, been here a long time, know the terrain, know the protocols, know the radio codes. If you were going to impersonate a ranger, a senior ranger is a good choice. Authority, trust. People listen to senior rangers. But what do they want? I don't know. Maybe nothing. Maybe they just are. Maybe they take faces the way spiders spin webs because it's what they do, because that's their nature. Outside, the figures hadn't moved, still standing there, still watching, still wearing Tom's face. My radio crackled. I'd forgotten to turn it back off. Tom's voice came through. Rangers Hayes and Henley. This is the real Tom Henley. I know you're scared. I know this doesn't make sense. But you need to come out. You need to trust me. I'm me. Those things in the hut, those are the imposters. They've stolen my face, stolen my authority. You have to come out. Now. Before they hurt you. The voice was perfect. Exact match. Same tone, same cadence. Even the slight rasp Tom got when he was stressed. Tom reached over, turned off my radio. Don't listen. That's what they do. They talk. They reason. They sound human. They sound right. But they're not. How do you know you're not one of them? I asked quietly. He looked at me, really looked at me. His eyes were wet. Because I'm terrified, Russell. Because I can feel my heart pounding. Because my hands are shaking. Because I want to call my wife and tell her I love her. Because I'm human and I'm scared and I don't understand what's happening. Those things, they don't feel that. They just wear it. I nodded. Okay. I believe you. Good. We waited. An hour passed. Then 2. The sun started its early winter descent. By 3 in the afternoon, shadows were getting long. By 4, it would be dark. Tom's radio crackled to life, even though he'd turned it off. Tom. Russell. This is Patterson. We have your position. We're coming in. ETA 30 minutes. Hold tight. Tom stared at his radio. I turned this off. Maybe they turned it back on remotely? You can't do that. Not with these units. The voice came again. Tom, can you hear me? We're on approach. Multiple units. We have thermal imaging showing 2 heat signatures in the warming hut. Can you confirm? Tom didn't respond. Just watched his radio like it was a snake. Tom, we need verbal confirmation. Are you and Russell both in the hut? Are you safe? Still nothing. Tom, if you're in danger, key your mic twice. Tom pulled his radio, held it up, looked at it for a long moment. Then he keyed the mic. Once, twice. Copy that. We're coming in hot. 3 minutes. I looked out the window. The figures at the tree line were moving now, agitated, pacing, like animals that know something is coming. Then I heard it. Engines, vehicles, coming up the access road, headlights cutting through the growing darkness. 3 trucks, Park Service green. They pulled up to the warming hut. 8 Rangers got out, weapons drawn, formation, professional. Patterson was leading them. I recognized his face, his voice through a megaphone. Hayes, Henley, this is Patterson. Come out with your hands visible. Tom and I looked at each other. That's really him, Tom said. That's really Patterson, I can tell. How? Because he's pissed off. Look at his face. He's angry and confused, and he wants answers. Those things, they don't get angry. They just are. We opened the door, stepped out, hands up. The fluorescent light from the hut spilled out behind us, harsh white light cutting the darkness. The figures at the tree line, the Tom things, they were gone, melted back into shadows, disappeared. Patterson lowered his weapon. What the hell happened up here? Tom and I tried to explain, tried to describe what we'd seen, what we'd heard. Patterson listened, face getting more skeptical with every word. So, you're saying, what? That something cloned you, made copies? I'm saying something used. My voice, my face, my radio codes, and I don't know what it was. Patterson looked at the tree line, at the tracks in the snow, multiple sets, all matching Tom's boots, leading in circles, leading nowhere. We'll document this, he finally said. File a report. But Tom, this sounds like altitude sickness. Hypoxia. Maybe carbon monoxide exposure in the hut. We need to get you both checked out. It wasn't hypoxia, Tom said flatly. Maybe not, but that's what the report's going to say. Because the alternative is that I write up that one of my senior rangers encountered supernatural entities. And that's not a report that gets filed. That's a report that gets you sent to psych evaluation and early retirement. He was right. We both knew it. They drove us back to the station, made us fill out incident reports. Vague, unclear, unusual radio interference, possible equipment malfunction, recommend technical review of radio systems. Nothing about faces, nothing about copies, nothing about the things that wore Tom's voice. Over the next 2 weeks, we got 6 more reports. Rangers seeing Tom Henley in places he wasn't, hearing his voice on channels he wasn't using, finding his boot prints on trails he hadn't walked. Then it stopped. No more sightings, no more reports. Like whatever it was got bored, moved on, found a new face to wear. Tom retired 3 months later. Early retirement. Said he couldn't be in the park anymore. Couldn't trust his own reflection. Couldn't be sure which Tom Henley was the real one. I understood. Because sometimes, late at night, I still hear it, my own voice, coming from my radio. Even when the radio's turned off. Even when I'm alone, calling my name, asking where I am, saying things I never said. And I wonder how many of me are out there, how many Russell Hayes are walking trails I've never walked, talking to people I've never met, living lives I'm not living. The forest is full of empty spaces, full of shapes left behind, and something fills those spaces, something that learns, something that copies, something that gets better at being you than you ever were. If you hear your partner's voice on the radio but they're standing right next to you, don't investigate. Get to shelter. Get to light. Electric light. Generator backup. Anything humans made. And never, ever respond to your own voice. Because once you acknowledge it, once you interact with it, it learns. It gets stronger. It gets more real. And eventually, it might just replace you entirely. Story 4. The Parallel Trail. I watched myself set up camp, 300 yards ahead through my binoculars. Same pack, same movements, same rain jacket. I was watching me make dinner over a camp stove. Problem was, I was still standing on the ridge with the binoculars. I should have turned around right then. But let me start from the beginning. October 24th, 2018. Yosemite National Park, California. Day 3 of a 5-day solo backcountry patrol. I'd been checking remote campsites along the northern boundary, making sure everything was secured before winter closure, documenting bear box damage, checking water sources. The kind of work that sounds romantic until you're actually doing it. Then it's just cold, wet, and lonely. My name's Kyle Vance, 36 years old, been a ranger for 9 years, 7 of those in Yosemite. I knew the backcountry better than I knew my own apartment. Could navigate most of it without a map. Had permits to go places tourists never see, places that don't exist on the official trail system. I had started this patrol 3 days earlier, October 22nd. Left from Tuolumne Meadows with 5 days of food, my overnight gear, radio, GPS, and the usual safety equipment. The plan was simple. Check 12 designated campsites. Document conditions. Mark anything that needed repair. Radio in twice daily. Be back at the trailhead by October 27th. Simple, routine. I'd done it dozens of times. Day 1 and 2 had been uneventful. Cold nights, clear days. Saw 2 backpackers on day 1, nobody on day 2. By day 3, I was deep enough that I wouldn't see another person unless they were seriously committed to getting remote. I'd covered maybe 11 miles that day. Started at dawn, made good time. The weather was holding, cold but clear. Temperature was probably in the low 40s. Perfect hiking weather if you're dressed right. I was dressed right. By 4:30 in the afternoon, I was approaching campsite 7, a place called Granite Creek Camp. Not on any tourist maps, backcountry only. Maybe 6 people used it per year. It sat in a small valley, creek running through it, good water source, flat spots for tents, bare box for food storage. I was coming in from the north ridge, high ground, good vantage point. I always like to glass a campsite before descending, get a sense of whether anyone was there, whether there were any hazards. Basic situational awareness. I stopped at the ridge, pulled out my binoculars. Leica 8x42s, good glass, clear. I'd had them for 6 years, used them every day. I raised them to my eyes, focused on the campsite below. Someone was there. My first thought was annoyance. I'd have to interact, make contact, verify their permit, standard ranger stuff. But I just wanted to make camp, eat, sleep, not deal with people. Then I looked closer. The person was setting up a tent, orange tent, single person, mountain hardware ghost, same tent I had, same color, same size. Okay, coincidence. Popular tent. Lots of people had them. But then I saw the pack. Black pack with gray accents. Osprey Aether. 65 liter. With a rolled sleeping pad strapped to the bottom. Green thermarest. Same configuration I used. My stomach tightened. I adjusted the focus. Watched the person move. They were wearing a dark green rain jacket. Arc'teryx. Same one I was wearing. Same color. I could see the yellow logo on the chest, even from 300 yards away. This wasn't coincidence anymore. The person finished setting up the tent, moved to set up their kitchen area, pulled out a camp stove, MSR pocket rocket, same stove I had, started preparing food. I could see the movements. Methodical, efficient, the exact way I set up camp, the exact sequence. Stove first, water filter second, food bag third, everything in order, everything precise. I lowered the binoculars, looked down at myself, at my green Arc'teryx jacket, at my black Osprey pack, at the rolled green sleeping pad, raised the binoculars again. The person was still there, still moving, still cooking. I could see steam rising from the pot on the stove, could see them stirring something, the same way I stirred my dehydrated meals, clockwise, 3 times, then counterclockwise twice. Habit I developed years ago. Superstition maybe. I didn't even think about it anymore. But this person was doing it exactly the same way. I felt cold, not weather cold. Something else. Something deeper. I raised my hand, waved it in front of my face, checking, making sure I was actually here, actually real. My hand moved. I felt it move, felt the air resistance, felt my muscles flex. I was here, on this ridge, definitely here. But I was also down there, 300 yards away, making camp. I stood there for maybe 5 minutes, just watching. The person, me, continued setting up, hung a food bag in a tree, organized gear, did everything exactly the way I would do it. Then they stopped, stood still, and looked up, directly at the ridge, directly at me. I couldn't see their face, too far away, but they were looking right at me. I knew they were, could feel it. They raised their hand, waved. I dropped the binoculars. They hit my chest, swung on the neck strap. My heart was hammering. actually hammering. I could feel it in my throat. This wasn't possible. This couldn't be happening. I pulled out my radio, keyed it. Ranger Vance to Tuolumne Meadows dispatch. Static. Then a response. Go ahead, Vance. I'm at Granite Creek Camp. Northridge approach. I have a situation. What kind of situation? I didn't know how to explain it. Didn't have words for what I was saying. Possible. Unauthorized camper. Using my equipment. Advised response. Long pause. Vance, can you clarify? Unauthorized camper is using your equipment, as in they stole your gear? Negative. My gear is with me. They're using equipment identical to mine. Another pause. Vance, are you requesting backup? Was I? What would I even tell them? Negative. I'll approach and make contact. Will advise. Vance out. I clipped the radio. Started down the ridge. Moving slow. Careful. The slope was steep. Loose rock. I had to focus on my footing, but my mind was racing. This had to be some kind of mistake, some kind of misidentification. Someone who happened to have similar gear, similar habits, similar everything, except it wasn't similar. It was identical. Exact. I reached the valley floor, maybe 200 yards from the campsite now. I could see the tent, the orange fabric, the guy lines staked out perfectly, the vestibule positioned away from prevailing wind, exactly how I would do it. I approached slow, making noise. Didn't want to startle anyone. Hello? I called out. Park ranger, making contact. No response. I got closer. 100 yards, 50 yards. The camp was set up. Stove was still going. Pot still steaming. But nobody was there. Nobody visible anyway. Hello? I called again. Park ranger. Anyone here? Nothing. Just the hiss of the camp stove. The bubble of boiling water. I reached the camp. Looked around. Everything was here. Tent. Stove. Pack. Sleeping pad rolled out inside the tent. Food bag hanging from a tree branch. But no person. I knelt by the stove. Put my hand near it. It was hot. Recently lit. Within the last 10 minutes, maybe. The pot on top had water in it. Boiling. Steam rising. I looked in the pot. Dehydrated food. Rehydrating. Beef stroganoff. Mountain House brand. Same meal I'd planned to eat tonight. Same brand. It was in my food bag right now. Hadn't opened it yet. Was planning to eat it at my next camp, 6 miles from here. But here it was. Already prepared. Already cooking. I stood up. Looked at the pack leaning against a tree. Black osprey. Gray accents. I walked over to it. Crouched down. Read the name tag on the side pocket. Kyle Vance. My name. My handwriting. My contact information. I reached out. Touched it. The fabric was real. Solid. Not a hallucination. Not an illusion. Real pack. Real gear. I opened the main compartment. Looked inside. Same stuff I had in my pack. Same organization. Sleeping bag in the bottom. Spare clothes rolled tight. First aid kit. Water filter. Extra food bags. I found the wallet pocket. Unzipped it. Pulled out an ID. California driver's license. Photo of me. My name. My address. My date of birth. Valid until 2023. My license was in my own pocket. I pulled it out. Compared them side by side. Identical. Exact copies. Same photo. Same information. Same license number. That wasn't possible. Every license has a unique number. Can't be duplicated. Can't be faked. Not this well. I dropped both licenses. Stood up. Backed away from the pack. My breath was coming fast now. Too fast. Hyperventilating. I forced myself to slow down. To think. Okay. Options. Someone was messing with me. Elaborate prank. Someone had copied my gear. Copied my ID. Set up this camp to freak me out. But who? And how? I hadn't told anyone exactly where I'd be today. My patrol route was filed, but not specific campsites. And how would they get my ID information? How would they duplicate my license? Unless this was my camp, my gear, my license, and I'd somehow forgotten setting it up. Some kind of fugue state, memory loss. I'd made camp here earlier, then left, then forgotten about it. But no, I'd been hiking all day. Steady progress. I knew where I'd been every hour, had GPS logs to prove it. I hadn't been here, hadn't set up camp. This was my first time at this site in 6 months. I heard something. Behind me, in the trees. I turned, saw movement. Someone walking away, heading east, into the forest. Dark green jacket, black pack, moving fast. Hey! I yelled. Stop! Park ranger. The figure didn't stop, didn't turn around, just kept walking, disappearing into the trees. I ran after them, crashed through undergrowth, branches whipping at my face. I didn't care. I needed answers, needed to see who this was. The forest was dense, old growth, thick trunks. I lost sight of the figure, but I could hear them, ahead of me, moving fast, brush crackling, footsteps on soft ground. I followed the sound, chasing. My pack was bouncing on my back, throwing off my balance, but I kept going. Then I saw them again, maybe 30 yards ahead, moving through a small clearing. I got a better look this time. Same height as me, same build, same gait. The way they moved, it was familiar, too familiar. They reached the far side of the clearing, stopped, turned around, and I saw their face. It was my face. Not similar, not close, exact. Same nose, same jaw, same scar above my left eyebrow from a climbing accident in 2014. Same everything. They, I, whoever it was, smiled, then turned and disappeared into the trees. I stood there in the clearing, frozen. My brain was trying to process what I'd just seen, trying to make it make sense. Failing. That wasn't possible. That was me, my face, my body, my everything, but I was here. So how could I also be there? I pulled out my radio, hands shaking so badly I almost dropped it. Vance the dispatch. Emergency traffic. Immediate response. Different voice. Supervisor. This is dispatch. Go ahead, Vance. I need to report a possible medical emergency. I'm experiencing. What was I experiencing? Possible hallucinations. Visual disturbances. Request immediate extraction. Copy that, Vance. What's your location? Granite Creek Camp, North Valley. What's your physical status? Are you injured? Negative. No injuries. But I'm seeing things that aren't possible. Can you elaborate? How could I elaborate? How could I explain this without sounding insane? I'm seeing someone who looks exactly like me, wearing my gear, using my equipment. I think I'm having a breakdown. Long pause. Vance, are you alone? I don't know. Yes. Maybe. I don't know anymore. Okay. Listen carefully. We need you to stay calm. Stay where you are. We're sending a team. ETA is approximately 3 hours. Can you maintain your position? 3 hours. In the dark. Alone. With whatever that was. Affirmative, I said. I'll maintain position. Good. Stay on this channel. Check in every 15 minutes. Understood? Understood. I clipped the radio, looked around the clearing. Empty. Just trees. Just shadows. The sun was getting low. Maybe another hour of daylight left. I walked back to the camp. The tent was still there. The stove was still running. The water had boiled away. The pot was starting to burn. I turned off the stove, sat down on a log, pulled out my own pack, double-checked my gear. Everything was here. Everything was mine. I was me. I was sure of it. But if I was me, then who had I just seen? My radio crackled. Tuolumne Meadows dispatched to Ranger Vance. I pulled it out. Vance here. Vance, we need you to confirm your position. We're showing some anomalies with your GPS beacon. I checked my GPS unit. Coordinates looked correct. I'm at Granite Creek Camp. Coordinates 37.8956 north, 119.3214 west. Elevation 8,200 feet. Copy that. Stand by. Another pause. Longer this time. Then a different voice. Patterson again, the supervisor. Vance, this is Patterson. We have a situation. We're receiving GPS data from your beacon showing two different locations. One at Granite Creek Camp where you say you are. Another approximately 6 miles northeast at Cathedral Lakes. Both signals are broadcasting your unique identifier. Can you explain that? I felt cold again. That deep cold. Negative. I'm at Granite Creek. I've been here for approximately 20 minutes. Vance, the signal at Cathedral Lakes has been active for the last 2 hours. It shows consistent movement, normal hiking pace. Someone is carrying your GPS beacon at Cathedral Lakes. That's not possible. My GPS is here. I held it up, looked at it, my beacon, my unit. Serial number matched. Everything checked out. We're aware this doesn't make sense, Patterson said. But we have two GPS signals, both authenticated, both broadcasting correct encryption, both identifying as Kyle Vance, badge number 2849. I stood up. Paced. My mind was racing. Patterson. I think something's wrong. Really wrong. I saw someone who looked exactly like me. And now you're getting duplicate GPS signals. This isn't equipment malfunction. This is something else. What do you mean, something else? I don't know. But whatever it is, it's not natural. It's not normal. Long silence. Then, Vance, I need you to listen carefully. Stay where you are. Don't move. Don't interact with anyone. The response team is en route. They'll be there in 2 hours and 40 minutes. Can you hold out that long? I'll try. Don't try. Do it. Stay on this channel. If anything changes, anything at all, you report it immediately. Understood? Understood. The radio went quiet. I sat back down on the log. The sun was lower now. Shadows were getting long. The forest was darkening. I heard footsteps. Behind me. Close. I spun around. Reached for my bear spray. Pulled it out. Aimed it. A figure stepped out of the trees. 30 feet away. Dark green jacket. Black pack. My face. It raised its hands. Easy, Kyle. Don't do something stupid. My voice. My exact voice. Same pitch. Same cadence. Same slight rasp I get when I'm tired. Who are you? I demanded. My voice was shaking. I tried to control it. Failed. I'm you, it said. Simply. Like it was obvious. Like the question was stupid. I'm Kyle Vance, Park Ranger. Badge number 2849. Born June 15th, 1982 in Sacramento, California. Grew up on Elm Street. Had a dog named Bailey, golden retriever. Died when I was 15. Cried for 3 days. Dad was a firefighter for Sacramento County. Station 12. Mom was a 4th grade teacher at Lincoln Elementary. Graduated UC Davis 2004 with a degree in environmental science. Started with NPS in 2009 at Sequoia. Transferred to Yosemite in 2011. All correct. All accurate. All things only I should know. Things I'd never told anyone. Private things. Personal things. That's not possible, I said. You're not me. You can't be me. I'm me. Why not? It tilted its head. My gesture. The exact thing I did when I was confused or skeptical. The unconscious movement I'd done 1,000 times without thinking. What makes you so sure you're the real Kyle Vance? What proof do you have? What evidence? I'm standing here. I'm me. I have my memories, my thoughts, my identity, my consciousness. I'm experiencing this moment that makes me real. So am I. It spread its hands. My gesture again. The way I talk with my hands when I'm trying to explain something. I have all the same memories, all the same thoughts, all the same identity. I'm experiencing this moment too. My consciousness is just as valid as yours. So which one of us is real? How do we determine that? What's the test? I was here first. I've been Kyle Vance for 36 years. You just appeared. Did I? It smiled. My smile. The crooked one that pulls more on the left side. The one my mom always said made me look mischievous. How do you know? How can you be certain? Maybe you just appeared. Maybe you came into existence 5 minutes ago with a complete set of false memories. Manufactured history. Implanted experiences. You'd think they were real. You'd believe in them completely. But they'd be fabricated. Counterfeit. How would you tell the difference? Because I remember my whole life. I remember being a kid. I remember high school, college, my first job, all of it. It's continuous, unbroken. So do I, it said. I remember all the same things. I remember the scar on our left knee from falling off a bike in 3rd grade. I remember the first girl I kissed, Sarah Henderson, 8th grade, behind the gym. I remember my first day at Yosemite, how big the valley looked, how small I felt. I remember everything you remember, exactly the same. So if memories make you real, they make me just as real. I didn't have an answer for that. My brain was trying to process it, trying to find the flaw in the logic. Couldn't. Think about it, Kyle. It took a step closer. I raised the bear spray higher. It stopped again, held up its hands, non-threatening. From a purely objective standpoint, from an outside perspective, how would anyone distinguish between us? We look identical. We sound identical. We have the same DNA, probably. The same fingerprints, the same memories, the same knowledge, the same personality. Every test they could run, every measure they could use. We'd be the same, indistinguishable. There has to be something, some difference, some way to tell. Is there? What would it be? Soul? Consciousness? Some essential Kyle-ness that makes you you and me not you? But those are abstract concepts, philosophical ideas, not measurable, not testable. How do you prove you have a soul? How do you prove you're conscious in a way I'm not? I know I'm real, I said. But even as I said it, I heard the doubt in my voice, the uncertainty. So do I. It smiled wider. I know I'm real. I feel real. I think, therefore I am. Isn't that what Descartes said? Cogito, ergo sum? Well, I'm thinking. I'm experiencing. I'm existing. So by that logic, I am just as much as you are. Stop. Stop talking. Why? Because it's making you doubt? Because you're starting to wonder if maybe I'm right? Maybe there's no meaningful difference between us? Maybe we're both equally real? Or both equally fake? Two copies of an original that doesn't exist anymore. Two iterations of Kyle Vance. Neither one more valid than the other. That can't be. Or maybe. It leaned forward slightly. Maybe I'm the original. Maybe you're the copy. Think about it. You're the one having a breakdown. You're the one who reported hallucinations. You're the one who called for extraction because you couldn't handle being alone. Meanwhile, I'm calm. I'm rational. I'm functioning normally. Which one of us seems more real, more stable, more like the Kyle Vance who's been a ranger for 9 years? You're trying to confuse me. I'm trying to make you think, make you question. Because the truth is, neither of us can prove we're the original. Neither of us can prove we're real. We just have to choose to believe it. Choose to have faith in our own existence. But faith isn't proof. Faith is just hope. And hope can be wrong. It reached for something on its belt. I saw it this time. A knife. My knife. Bench-made folder. Same one I carried. Same wear pattern on the handle. Last chance, Kyle. Its voice was softer now, almost gentle. Come back across that bridge. Let me take over. It doesn't hurt. You just go to sleep. And then I wake up. In your body. With your life. With your future. It's peaceful. It's easy. Like falling asleep after a long day. Just let go. And what happens to me? You stop. You end. But really, are you sure you ever began? Maybe you're just a glitch. An error. A duplicate that shouldn't exist. Maybe by ending, you're just correcting a mistake. Returning to the nothing you came from. I'm not nothing. I'm Kyle Vance. Are you? It opened the knife. Slowly. The blade caught the last of the fading light. Or, are you a copy who thinks he's Kyle Vance? There's a difference. A big difference. And deep down, I think you know which one you are. No. Yes. You can feel it. The wrongness. The sense that something isn't right. That something's off. You've been feeling it all day, haven't you? Even before you saw the camp. Even before you saw me. You've been feeling disconnected. Like you're watching yourself from outside. Like you're not quite inhabiting your own body. That's the feeling of being a copy. Of being an echo instead of the original sound. It was right. I had been feeling that all day. That strange dissociation, that sense of unreality. But I chalked it up to exhaustion, to being alone too long, to the isolation of backcountry patrol. But what if it was something else? What if it was the feeling of not being real? You're lying, I said. But my voice was weak, uncertain. Am I? Or am I the only one telling you the truth? The truth you don't want to hear? The truth that terrifies you more than anything else? That you might not be who you think you are? That you might not be anyone at all? I ran. Didn't think. Just ran. Back through the trees. Away from the camp. Away from whatever that was. I could hear it behind me. Not running. Walking. That same steady pace. But somehow keeping up. Like it knew where I was going. Like it knew every move I'd make before I made it. Because it was me. It knew what I'd do. Because it would do the same thing. I broke out of the trees. Onto a trail. Narrow. Barely maintained. But I knew it. The Cathedral Lakes Connector Trail led northeast. Toward the main hiking routes. Toward people. Toward civilization. I ran. Full sprint. My pack was heavy. My lungs were burning. But I didn't stop. Couldn't stop. Behind me, I heard my own voice. You can't run from yourself, Kyle. You're just making this harder. The trail climbed. Steep grade. My legs were screaming. But I pushed. Forced myself up the slope. My heart was hammering. Vision was starting to tunnel. Then I saw it ahead. A bridge. Steel suspension footbridge. Spanning a gorge. Maybe 60 feet across. Canyon below was deep. Maybe 200 feet. Creek running at the bottom. I hit the bridge at full speed. My boots clanged on the metal grating. The whole structure swayed. Cables creaking. I didn't care. Just kept running. Made it to the center. Looked back. It was standing at the edge of the bridge. Right where the steel met the stone. Not crossing. Not moving. Just standing there. Come on, I yelled, gasping. Come get me. It shook its head. My gesture again. Can't, it said. Metal. Can't cross metal. Old rules. Old boundaries. What are you? I'm what fills the empty spaces. I'm what steps in when someone goes missing. When someone disappears in the wilderness. I take their place. Wear their face. Live their life. It's what I do. What I've always done. Why me? Because you're alone out here. Because you're isolated. Because no one would notice if you disappeared for a day or two by the time they found the discrepancies. By the time they realized something was wrong. I'd be good enough at being you that it wouldn't matter. I'd pass. I'd be you, better than you ever were. The Rangers are coming, I said. They know something's wrong. Do they? It smiled. Or do they just think you're having a breakdown? A mental health crisis? Happens to Rangers all the time. Isolation. Stress. Too much time alone. They'll bring you in, evaluate you, and while you're telling them crazy stories about duplicates and impossibilities, I'll be out here, being Kyle Vance, filing reports, making contacts, living your life. They'll know. Will they? I know everything you know. I have all your memories, all your mannerisms, all your habits. I'm you, just better, more focused, more committed. They'll prefer me, they'll like me more, and you'll be the broken one, the one who couldn't handle it, the one who had to retire early due to psychological problems. I stood there, on the bridge, holding the cables. My mind was racing. Was it right? Would they believe me? Or would they think I'd lost it? Last chance, it said. Come back. Let me take over. It doesn't hurt. You just go to sleep. And then I wake up in your body with your life. It's peaceful. It's easy. No. Then I'll wait. I have time. You have to come off that bridge eventually, and when you do, I'll be here. It sat down, cross-legged, right at the edge of the bridge, watching me, waiting. I pulled out my radio. Vance to dispatch. Emergency traffic. Patterson's voice. Go ahead, Vance. I'm at the Cathedral Lakes suspension bridge. I need immediate extraction. I'm not moving from this position. Copy that. Response team has your location. ETA is 1 hour and 50 minutes. Can you hold? I looked at the thing sitting at the end of the bridge. It waved at me. My wave. I don't have a choice, I said. I sat down in the middle of the bridge, legs through the grating, back against the cable, radio in one hand, bear spray in the other, and I waited. The sun set, darkness came. The thing at the end of the bridge was just a shadow now, but I could feel it watching, could hear it breathing. My breathing, my rhythm. An hour passed, then 90 minutes. My legs were cramping, I was cold, exhausted, but I didn't move. Then I saw lights, headlamps, coming up the trail from the south, 3 of them. Response team. Vance, a voice called out. Kyle Vance. Here, I yelled back. On the bridge! They approached. 3 Rangers. I recognized 2 of them. Stevens and Chen. Good people. Professional. They stopped at the bridge entrance, where the thing had been sitting. It was gone. Just gone. Empty ground. Kyle? Stevens called. You okay? I stood up, shaky, exhausted. Yeah, I'm okay now. Where's the other one? Chen asked. Other one? The other person. Dispatch said there was someone else. Someone wearing your gear. Someone who looked like you. I turned. Scanned the area with my headlamp. Nothing. Just trees. Just darkness. I don't know, I said quietly. They were here. Right here. But now. Stevens and Chen exchanged looks. I saw it. That look. That concern. Let's get you back, Stevens said. Careful. Gentle. The voice you use with someone who's fragile. Get you checked out. You've been out here alone for too long. They walked me back. 3 hours back to the trailhead. They didn't ask many questions, just kept me moving, kept me talking, making sure I was responsive, making sure I was coherent. At the trailhead, there was an ambulance. Paramedics. They checked my vitals. Everything was normal. Blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen levels, all fine. But they made me go to the hospital anyway. Evaluation. They kept me overnight. Brain scans, blood work, psychological assessment. Everything came back normal. The camp at Granite Creek was still there when they checked the next day. Tent, stove, pack, all of it. My name on the pack, my license in the wallet, my gear, but the DNA didn't match. They ran tests. The hair they found. The fingerprints on the gear. Not mine. Close, but not exact. Something had been there. Something that looked like me. Something that left traces. But what it was, officially, the report said equipment staging by an unknown party, possible stalking, possible identity theft attempt, psychological warfare, case filed, never solved. They put me on leave, 3 months, mandatory counseling, evaluation. I passed, eventually, but they never sent me on solo patrols again, always paired, always with someone else, because they couldn't be sure, couldn't be certain. Was I Kyle Vance, or was I the thing that took his place? I don't know anymore. Most days, I think I'm me. I have my memories, my thoughts, my identity, but sometimes, I wonder, what if it was right? What if I'm the copy, the duplicate, the thing that thinks it's Kyle Vance but isn't? There's no way to know, no way to be sure, and that's the worst part. Not the fear, not the confusion, the doubt, the constant, gnawing doubt about your own existence. If you see yourself ahead of you on the trail, don't approach. Don't try to understand it. Get to metal, bridges, guardrails, anything iron or steel, old boundaries, old rules. They still work. And whatever you do, don't let it convince you that you're the copy. Because once you start doubting, once you start wondering if maybe you're not real, you've already lost. Story 5, the closed section. 3 Rangers went into Section 9 that morning. I'm the only one who came back. I need to tell you what happened. Need to get it down while I still remember it clearly, while I can still trust my own memories, before they start questioning whether any of it was real. December 3rd, 2019. Olympic National Forest, Washington. Cold, wet. The kind of morning where mist hangs so thick you can barely see 20 feet ahead. Temperature was maybe 38 degrees. Not freezing, but cold enough that the dampness got into your bones and stayed there. My name is Aaron Walsh. I'm 29 years old. Been a ranger for 4 years. 3 of those years in Olympic. Not senior, not experienced, not the guy they usually send on complicated assignments. I'm the guy who does perimeter checks, who processes permits, who handles the easy stuff. But that morning they needed 3 rangers, and I was available. Section 9 had been closed for 2 years. Not maintenance closed, not seasonal closed, permanently closed. Red tape across the trailhead. Signs posted every 50 feet. Trail closed, do not enter, dangerous conditions, federal property, violators will be prosecuted. The official reason was trail degradation and wildlife management, unstable terrain, erosion hazards, potential rock slides, the usual bureaucratic language that sounds official and doesn't really say anything specific. The real reason nobody talked about. Not officially, but we all knew, we all felt it. People who went into Section 9 didn't come back. Not all of them, not even most of them, but enough. Over 18 months before the closure, we'd had 7 missing persons cases in that specific area. 7 people who entered Section 9 and never came out, no bodies recovered, no evidence of what happened, no explanation that made sense. First was a solo hiker, March 2017. Experienced backpacker, filed a proper permit, had satellite phone, GPS beacon, all the gear. He checked in at the trailhead. Said he'd be back in 4 days. Never came back. Search teams found nothing. His GPS beacon stopped transmitting 6 miles into Section 9. Just stopped. Like someone turned it off. Or like it ceased to exist. Second was a couple. Newlyweds. June 2017. Celebrating their honeymoon with a backpacking trip. Young, fit, prepared. They sent a text from 3 miles in. Said they were having a great time. That was the last anyone heard. Search teams found their tent, set up properly. Food hung correctly. No signs of struggle. No signs of animal activity. Just empty. Like they'd stepped out for a minute and never came back. Third, fourth, and fifth were a group. 3 college students. August 2017. They had spot devices, emergency beacons. One of them activated their beacon 4 miles into Section 9. Signal came through. SAR team mobilized immediately. They reached the beacon location in under 6 hours. Found the beacon, lying on the trail, deliberately activated. But no students, no packs, no gear, no footprints leading away, nothing. Just the beacon, sitting there, still transmitting. Sixth was a wildlife photographer. October 2017. Professional. Knew what she was doing. Had years of experience shooting in remote locations. She was supposed to meet her husband at the trailhead after 3 days. Never showed. They found her camera, memory card intact. Photos showed her setting up camp, normal shots, trail, trees, wildlife. The last photo was of the trail ahead. Nothing unusual in the frame, nothing threatening, just trail. Seventh. Seventh was different. January 2018. A ranger, one of ours. Guy named Thompson. 22 years with the Forest Service. He went in to investigate the previous disappearances, to see if there was some geographical feature we were missing, some hazard that wasn't on maps. He went in at dawn with full gear, radio, GPS, sat phone, backup everything. Checked in every hour, normal reports, normal observations. His last check-in was at 1400 hours. Said he was at approximately 6.2 miles in. Everything was fine, weather clear, no issues. His next scheduled check-in was 1500 hours. Never came. We tried to raise him. No response. Sent in a team immediately. Found nothing. No gear, no tracks, no radio, no body. It was like he'd never existed. Just erased. After that, they closed Section 9. Shut it down completely. Posted guards at the trailhead for the first 6 months. Eventually pulled the guards when nothing happened. The closure seemed to work. No one went in. No one disappeared. Problem solved. Except it wasn't solved. It was just contained. Whatever was in there, it was still there. Waiting. Patient. And 2 days ago, someone broke in, and Forest Service policy was clear. If someone violates a closure, we have to attempt retrieval, have to go in and get them out, rescue them if they're injured, cite them if they're not. Either way, we don't just leave people in there. So they assembled a team. 3 rangers, Senior Ranger Phillips, Ranger Lisa Ortiz, and me. Phillips was 53 years old, been with the Forest Service for 28 years, knew Olympic better than anyone. If something went wrong, Phillips was the guy you wanted with you. Calm, experienced, unshakable. Ortiz was 32, 7 years as a ranger, trained in wilderness medicine, search and rescue certified, sharp, professional. I'd worked with her before, trusted her. And then there was me, the junior guy, the one who followed orders and tried not to screw up. We met at the Section 9 trailhead at 7:30 in the morning. The gate was still there, chain link fence, 8 feet tall, topped with barbed wire, not to keep animals out, to keep people out. The padlock on the gate had been cut, bolt cutters probably, clean cut, recent. The person we were tracking had broken in deliberately, knew what they were doing. Phillips examined the lock. Professional job. Whoever did this came prepared. Why would anyone break into a closed section? I asked. Thrill seekers, Ortiz said. Urban explorers. People who think rules don't apply to them. We get them sometimes. Usually they just want to post photos online, prove they went somewhere forbidden. Or maybe they don't know it's closed, Philip said. Maybe they're lost. Maybe they came in from another direction and didn't see the signs. We opened the gate, stepped through. The trail beyond was overgrown. 2 years of neglect had let the forest reclaim it, ferns and salal crowding the path, branches hanging low. It looked abandoned, wild, wrong. Stay together, Philip said. Visual contact at all times. No one separates. No one goes ahead. We're here to find the trespasser and bring them out. That's it. We don't investigate. We don't explore. We get in, get them, get out. Clear? Clear, Ortiz and I said together. We started hiking. Single file. Phillips in front. Me in the middle. Ortiz taking rear position. Standard formation. We move slow, checking for tracks, looking for signs. The forest was quiet. Too quiet. No birds, no squirrels. No ambient wildlife sounds. Just the drip of water from leaves. The crunch of our boots on wet ground. Our breathing. You feel that? Ortiz said after about 20 minutes. Feel what? I asked. The silence. It's not natural. There should be birds, animal sounds, something. Philip stopped, listened. She's right. Forest is too quiet. Wildlife's avoiding this area. Why would they do that? Predator nearby, or something else, something that makes them nervous. We kept walking. The trail wound through dense old growth, Douglas fir and western red cedar, trees that had been here for centuries. Their trunks were massive, 10 feet across in some cases. The canopy above was so thick it created permanent twilight underneath. After 45 minutes we found the first sign, a campsite, off trail, maybe 30 feet into the forest. Someone had cleared a small area, set up a tent, orange tent, 2-person, stakes in the ground, guy lines tight, but no one was there. Phillips approached cautiously, hand on his bear spray. Hello? Forest Service rangers? Anyone here? No response. We moved closer. The tent flap was open. Philip shined his flashlight inside. Empty. Sleeping bag. Backpack. Personal items. But no person. Check the gear, Philip said. Ortiz and I examined the campsite. The backpack was high-end. Osprey brand. Well used. Name tag on the side pocket. J. Phillips. Ortiz looked at Phillips. This is your pack. No, Phillips said. Mine is on my back. Look at the name tag. Phillips leaned over, read it. His face went pale. That's my handwriting. That's my name, but I didn't write that. I've never written on a name tag like that. I looked in the pack. Same gear Phillips was carrying. Same organization. Same everything. Down to the specific brand of energy bars. The specific model of water filter. This is a copy of your gear, I said slowly. How is that possible? Ortiz pulled out her radio. Base. This is Ortiz. We have a situation in Section 9. Static. Then a voice. Go ahead, Ortiz. We found a campsite with gear matching Senior Ranger Phillips. Equipment. Exact matches. Request guidance. Long pause. Say again, Ortiz. Did you say matching equipment? Affirmative. Same pack. Same gear. Same name tag. But Phillips has his gear with him. This is a duplicate. Another pause. Stand by. We waited. Phillips was examining the tent, running his hands over the fabric. This is the exact tent I use. Same model, same color. Even the same repair patch on the left panel. I made that patch 3 years ago. Sewed it myself. Someone copied your gear, I said. Who? Why? And how did they know exactly what I have? Ortiz's radio crackled. Ortiz, this is Station Chief Reeves. Abort the retrieval. Exit Section 9 immediately. We're sending additional support. Copy that, Ortiz said. We're pulling out now. We started back toward the trail. That's when we heard it. A voice, calling from deeper in the forest, to the north. Help, please. Someone help me. Male voice, distressed, scared. We froze, looked at each other. That's the trespasser, I said. Could be, Philip said. Could also be a trap. Help, I'm hurt. Please. We have to check it out, Ortiz said. Forest Service policy. If someone's injured, we respond. Phillips was quiet for a moment. Then, okay, but we stay together. We move as a unit. First sign of trouble, we pull back. Agreed? Agreed. We moved north, off trail, through dense undergrowth. The voice kept calling, always ahead of us, always moving. Help! Please! This way! We pushed through ferns, ducked under low branches. The forest was getting darker, thicker. The trees were closer together, the canopy more dense. Then we saw him, a figure, maybe 50 yards ahead, standing in a small clearing, waving. Here. I'm here. We approached. As we got closer, I could see details. Male, maybe mid-50s, gray hair, ranger uniform, dark green pants, gray jacket. Phillips' uniform. We stopped 20 feet away. The figure was Phillips. Exact match. Same face, same build, same uniform, same everything. But Phillips was standing next to me. The duplicate Phillips waved. Thank God. I've been lost for hours. My radio isn't working. I can't find the trail. Please help me get out of here. The real Phillips raised his weapon. Stay back. Identify yourself. What? It's me. Phillips. Senior Ranger Phillips. We're on the retrieval mission. Don't you recognize me? I'm Phillips, the real Phillips said. Who the hell are you? The duplicate looked confused. Then looked at us. Really looked and smiled. Not a friendly smile. Something else. Wider. Wrong. Oh, it said. You figured it out faster than the others. That's good. That's progress. Others? Ortiz said. What others? The 7 who didn't come back. They took longer to realize. Kept following. Kept trusting. Made it easier to separate them. Take them one by one. But you're smarter. More cautious. This will be more interesting. Behind us, I heard movement. Turned around, 3 more figures, all wearing ranger uniforms, all female, all with Ortiz's face. Hello, Lisa, they said in unison. Ortiz's voice. Exact match. The real Ortiz raised her weapon. Aaron. Phillips. Back-to-back defensive formation. We formed a triangle. Backs together. Weapons out. The duplicates surrounded us. 4 Phillips, 3 Ortiz, all standing in a circle, all watching, all smiling that wrong smile. You can't fight us, one of the Phillips said. We're you. We know how you think, how you move, how you fight. We're perfect copies. Better than perfect. We're what you'd be if you were more. What do you want? The real Phillips demanded. Your shapes, your faces, your lives. You walked into Section 9, into our territory. That makes you ours. That's the rule. That's always been the rule. The forest takes what enters, and we wear what the forest provides. We're leaving, Phillips said. Right now. You're not stopping us. Aren't we? One of the Ortiz duplicates tilted its head. How will you leave? You don't know which way is out. The trail moves here, changes. What was north is now south. What was behind you is now ahead. You're already lost. You just don't know it yet. We have GPS, I said. Pulled out my unit. Looked at the screen. No signal. The screen showed my location as nowhere. Just blank. Like I didn't exist. Like this place didn't exist. Technology doesn't work here, one of the Phillips said. This is old forest, old rules. Machines don't understand old rules. Only flesh does. Only blood. Then we follow our tracks back, Ortiz said. Our boot prints, the way we came. Do you remember the way you came? The duplicate smiled. Are you sure? Think carefully. Visualize the path. Can you see it clearly? Or is it fuzzy? Uncertain? The forest gets into your memory here, changes things, makes you forget. By the time you realize you're lost, you've been lost for hours. I tried to remember. Tried to picture the path we'd taken from the trailhead. Found I couldn't. It was blurry, indistinct, like trying to remember a dream. What did you do to us? I asked. Nothing. The forest did it. We're just beneficiaries. We take the shapes, wear the faces, continue the lives. It's symbiotic. The forest feeds us. We feed the forest. Aaron, Philip said quietly. When I count to 3, we run. South. Away from them. Don't stop. Don't look back. Just run. Clear? Clear, I whispered. Lisa, clear. 1. The duplicates moved closer, tightening the circle. 2. I could see their faces now. Perfect copies. No flaws. No imperfections. Too perfect. Uncanny valley. 3. We ran. Broke formation. Scattered. I went south. Or what I thought was south. Crashed through undergrowth. Branches whipping my face. Ferns grabbing at my legs. Behind me, I heard them. Multiple footsteps. But not running. Walking. That same steady pace. Keeping up without effort. I ran faster. Lungs burning. Heart pounding. The forest blurred around me. Then I saw it ahead. A figure. Orange safety vest. Ranger uniform. Ortiz. Aaron! This way! I found the trail! I ran toward her. Relief flooding through me. But something was wrong. Her voice. Too bright. Too eager. Not quite right. I stopped. 20 feet away. Lisa, come on, Aaron. We have to get out of here. The trail's right behind me. We can make it if we hurry. Where's Phillips? He's already ahead. He found the gate. Come on. What's the name of your dog? She blinked. What? Your dog. You told me about your dog last week. What's its name? I don't have a dog. Yes, you do. German Shepherd. You showed me pictures. What's his name? The smile faded from her face. Does it matter? We need to go. Now. It matters to me. She stared at me. Then the smile came back. Wider. Wrong. His name is Chance. Now come on. Her dog's name was Duke. I backed away. You're not Lisa. Sure I am. Look at me. Same face. Same voice. Same uniform. I'm Lisa Ortiz. Badge number 3. 167. We need to leave. Together. Don't you trust me? No. Its face changed. Not dramatically. Just something in the eyes. Something cold, sliding behind the mask. That's disappointing, Aaron. I thought we were partners. Thought you trusted your team. My team doesn't try to trick me. Are you sure? How do you know what your team would do? How do you know you can trust your own judgment? Maybe you're the one who's compromised. Maybe you're the duplicate. Ever think of that? I had. The thought had crossed my mind. What if I was the copy? What if the real Aaron was somewhere else? And I was. No. Stop. That's what they wanted. They wanted me to doubt, to question, to become uncertain. I was Aaron Walsh. I knew I was. I had to believe that. I turned and ran. Different direction. East, maybe. Or west. I didn't know anymore. Just away from that thing wearing Ortiz's face. I ran for what felt like hours. Might have been 10 minutes. Time was elastic here. Unreliable. I stumbled into another clearing. Collapsed against a tree. Gasping. My lungs felt like they were full of broken glass. Movement to my right. I spun. Raised my bear spray with shaking hands. Phillips. The real one. I hoped. God, I hoped. He was leaning heavily against a cedar tree, blood on his forehead, jacket torn across the shoulder. His face was pale, breathing hard. Aaron, he said. His voice was rough, strained. Thank God. Where's Ortiz? I don't know. We got separated when we ran. Are you okay? That's a lot of blood. Cut my head on a branch. Or, I think it was a branch. Everything's blurry. He touched his forehead, winced. Might be concussed. I'm fine though. Have you seen the trail? I can't find the trail anywhere. No. I'm lost. Completely turned around. GPS doesn't work. My sense of direction is gone. I don't even know which way is back. He nodded slowly, like the movement hurt. Me too. Same problem. GPS shows nothing. Radio doesn't work. It's like we're in a dead zone, like we're nowhere. Phillips. What is this place? He was quiet for a long moment, just breathing. Then, Aaron, I need to tell you something. In case we don't make it out, in case something happens to one of us, you need to know the truth about Section 9. What truth? This section. It wasn't closed because of disappearances. That's the official story, the one we tell the public, the one that goes in reports. But the real reason. He paused, looked around, making sure nothing was listening. The real reason is that the Forest Service knows. They've always known. They know what's here, what lives here, what hunts here. My stomach went cold. What do you mean they know? Section 9 has been a problem area for over 60 years, maybe longer. Records go back to the 50s. Before that, there's tribal oral history, stories about this area, about things that wear faces, things that steal shapes. The Quinault tribe wouldn't come here. Neither would the Maka. They knew. They've always known. Then why send us in? If they know it's dangerous, if they know what's here, why send rangers? Because protocol demands it. Because legally they can't acknowledge the real danger. Because officially these things don't exist, can't exist. So they maintain the fiction. They close the area, they post signs, they send in teams when someone violates the closure, and they just hope that the teams make it back out. That's insane. That's completely insane. Is it? He looked at me. His eyes were bloodshot, exhausted. What's more insane? Acknowledging that there are things in the forest that wear human faces? Things that violate every law of nature we understand? Or maintaining the comfortable illusion that the world makes sense? That the rules we know are the only rules that exist? That reality is stable and predictable and safe? I didn't have an answer for that. Aaron, he continued. His voice was getting weaker, like talking was taking effort. I need you to listen very carefully. This is important. If we get separated, if something happens to me, you need to get to the boundary, the fence line, the closure markers. The boundary is real. It's established. Those things, whatever they are, they can't cross it. How do you know? Because in the 7 disappearances, before they closed this section, we found evidence. 6 of them, 6 of the 7, we found their clothes, their personal items, their gear, right at the boundary line, within feet of the fence, like they almost made it. Got right to the edge, right to safety, but didn't cross. Something stopped them. Something kept them inside, turned them back, or took them right at the threshold. What about the 7th? Thompson, the ranger. We found nothing, not even at the boundary. Like he never existed. Like the forest just swallowed him whole, erased him completely. No trace, no evidence. Just gone. A sound behind Phillips, in the trees. Footsteps. Multiple sets, moving through undergrowth. Getting closer. Phillips turned. Slow. His hand went to his sidearm. Who's there? Identify yourself. Multiple voices responded, all Philip's voice. Perfect synchronization. We are. We're you. We're the ones who'll walk out of here wearing your face, living your life, being you better than you ever were, more dedicated, more efficient, more perfect. 3 figures emerged from the trees, all wearing Philip's face, all wearing his uniform, all moving with his gait, but wrong, subtly wrong, like actors who'd studied the role but hadn't quite internalized it. The real Phillips looked at me. His face was grim, resolved. Aaron, listen to me. You need to run. Right now. Get to the boundary. Don't stop. Don't look back. Don't trust anyone. Not even me. Especially not me. Because if they take me, if they wear my face, you won't be able to tell the difference. And they'll use that. They'll use your trust against you. I'm not leaving you here. You don't have a choice. He pulled his radio from his belt. The one that didn't work. Threw it at my feet. Take this. Once you're across the boundary, if you make it across, it'll start working again. Use channel 7. That's the emergency frequency. Direct line to station chief. Call for extraction and tell them. He paused. His jaw tightened. Tell them Section 9 needs to be burned. All of it. Every tree. Every inch. It's the only way to stop this. The only way to make sure it doesn't spread. Phillips. Go. Now. The 3 duplicates moved toward him, forming a semicircle, closing in. Phillips pulled his weapon, aimed at the closest one. I ran, grabbed the radio, shoved it in my pocket, bolted into the forest. Behind me, I heard voices. Philip's voice, multiple versions, overlapping, arguing, shouting, then a single gunshot, then silence, complete silence. I didn't look back, didn't stop, just ran. Blind, no direction, no plan, just pure animal panic, flight response, the kind of running where your conscious mind shuts off and your hindbrain takes over. Run, survive, escape. Branches tore at my clothes, my face. Thorns caught my jacket, tore fabric, drew blood. I didn't care, didn't feel it, just kept running. My lungs were screaming, my legs were burning, my vision was tunneling, but I couldn't stop. If I stopped, they'd catch me. If I slowed down, they'd take me, wear my face, be me. I crashed through a thick patch of salal, stumbled, nearly went down, caught myself on a tree trunk, pushed forward. Then I saw it. Through the trees, through the undergrowth, a glint of metal, straight lines that didn't belong in nature. Chain link fence, 8 feet tall, barbed wire coiled across the top, industrial, man-made, beautiful. The boundary. I sprinted, found reserves of energy I didn't know I had. Full speed. Everything I had left. The fence was there, real, solid, salvation made manifest in chain link and steel posts. Behind me, footsteps. Not running anymore, walking. That same steady, inhuman pace. Multiple sets, all in sync, all closing in. 30 feet back, 20, 15. I hit the fence at full speed, grabbed the chain link with both hands, felt the cold metal bite into my palms. Real, tangible. The first genuinely real thing I'd felt in what seemed like hours. I climbed, hands scrabbling at the chain link, fingers finding purchase in the gaps, boots kicking, pushing, hauling myself up, 1 foot, 2 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet. Behind me, I could hear them, right at the fence, but not climbing, not following, just standing there. Aaron, one said, Ortiz's voice. Don't leave us. We need you. We're your team. We're your partners. Come back, please. I didn't respond, didn't look down, just kept climbing. Reached the top. The barbed wire, 3 strands, tightly coiled, sharp. I grabbed it anyway. Didn't care, cut my hands, felt the warm blood, felt the pain. Good. Pain meant I was real. Pain meant I was alive. I swung my leg over. The barbed wire tore through my pants, bit into my thigh, deep. I felt it rake across muscle, felt more blood, still didn't care. I dropped down the other side, 8 feet, landed hard on frozen ground. My ankle twisted. Sharp pain shot up my leg. Possibly sprained, possibly broken, didn't matter. I rolled, came up, limped away from the fence, put distance between me and that boundary. Then I turned, looked back, the fence line, the boundary. On the other side, figures stood. 7 of them, 4 Phillips, 3 Ortiz, all in ranger uniforms, all with the right faces, all standing at the fence. Hands gripping the chain link, faces pressed against the metal, watching me. Just watching. Not climbing, not following, not crossing that invisible line. Behind them, the forest. Dark, dense, wrong. Like it was watching too. And then, as I watched, they changed. Not suddenly, gradually. Their faces shifted, melted, reformed, became something else. Something that wore human faces, but wasn't human. Something old, something hungry, something patient. For just a moment I saw what they really were. And then they changed back, put the masks back on, became Phillips and Ortiz again. One of them smiled. My smile. Aaron's smile. "We'll see you again, Aaron," it said. My voice. Eventually. Everyone comes back to the forest. Everyone returns. And when you do, we'll be waiting. We'll be ready. And next time, you won't make it to the fence. I backed away, step by step, not turning around, not taking my eyes off them, not until I was 100 feet from the boundary, 200. Only then did I turn. Only then did I start walking, limping, making my way through the regular forest, the normal forest, the safe forest. I pulled out Philip's radio, keyed channel 7. "This is Ranger Aaron Walsh. Emergency extraction needed at Section 9 North Boundary. 3 Rangers entered. Only 1 came back. Repeat. Only 1 came back. Request. Immediate response." The radio crackled. "Copy that, Walsh. Units responding. ETA 20 minutes. Hold your position." I held position, kept the fence in sight. The figures on the other side didn't move, just watched, patient, like they had all the time in the world. 20 minutes later, trucks arrived. Rangers, search and rescue. They found me sitting against a tree, still watching the fence. They went in, full team, 12 Rangers, search dogs, equipment. They searched for 3 days. Found nothing. No bodies, no gear, no sign of Phillips or Ortiz. Just empty forest. Quiet. Still. Wrong. The official report said probable wildlife attack. Remains not recovered. Presumed deceased. Family notified. Death benefits paid. Section 9 was permanently closed. Not just closed. Sealed. They put up concrete barriers. Guard stations. Cameras. No one goes in. Ever. I was debriefed. Psychiatrically evaluated. Put on administrative leave. They wanted to know what happened. Wanted details. I told them everything. They didn't believe me. Called it trauma response. Survivor's guilt. Hallucination induced by stress and fear. Suggested therapy. Medication. But they didn't send anyone else into Section 9. And they didn't question my story too hard. Like they didn't want me to elaborate. Didn't want it on official record. Because they knew. Deep down, they knew I was telling the truth. And that scared them more than any lie could. It's been 6 months now. I'm back on duty. Different sector. Different forest. They won't let me near Olympic anymore. I still see them sometimes. In crowds. Phillips. Ortiz. just for a second, just a glimpse, then they're gone. Maybe it's trauma, maybe it's guilt, maybe my mind playing tricks, or maybe they got out. Maybe the boundary doesn't work as well as everyone thinks. Maybe they're out here, among us, wearing faces, living lives, being people better than the originals ever were. I don't know. Can't know. All I know is this. If a section is closed, it's closed for a reason. Don't go in. Don't investigate. Don't try to rescue anyone inside. Because whatever's in there, it keeps what it takes. And it's always hungry for more. 3 Rangers went into Section 9 that morning. I'm the only one who came back. And sometimes late at night, I wonder if that's actually true.